Just another day, only to scream into the night. Nothing ever tries to change, even if I want to realize. 'Cause I've been sitting here, same old ways, taking off without the same mistake. Darling, when you go away, it won't be as simple for you.
Wow. Guys, what a final. And it is Messi, or Emperor Messi, as he seems to be now called, with Argentina, who have won the FIFA 2022 World Cup. I'm speechless. I'm actually totally speechless because, if I'm honest, for about 60 minutes of that game, it was boring. It was a dud. It was boring. I didn't care, and obviously I've just thought literally Argentina have got this. I don't even know where to start. I don't know where to start that game. Like, I know a lot of people say, "Oh, Messi hates it," but like, I'm just amazed that we got that, because I don't think people realize that finals often disappoint. Finals often disappoint, and this final did not disappoint. It had everything. It literally had everything. I don't know what. Okay, I want to be composed. I want to be composed. Shout out to those who are watching the chat, by the way. Get involved, like, share, and vid, subscribe, all that jazz. But I think the first thing I'll talk about is Messi and then the game, because now obviously there's no debate. Now there is no debate. There is no debate at all. Messi is the GOAT. He's the GOAT because, even though I do think that it's not, he didn't win it in the same way that Maradona won his, in terms of, carrying. But it doesn't matter, because he's achieved what he needs to achieve in football. Internationally, he's won his Copa, he's won his World Cup, he's won his CLs, he's won his leagues, he's won all that needs to be. He's completed football now. He's completed football, and not many players, not many teams can say they've completed football. Yes, some of the Spaniards, the aside from maybe likes of the Spanish players like Xavi and Iniesta, and that Spain kind of side that won the CL and World Cup and Euros, then yeah, they've done that as well. But he's completed football, man. He has completed football, and you got to shout to Argentina, man. Like, they lost to Saudi Arabia in the first game, and people thinking, this Argentina side are meaningless, aren't going to do anything, and yet they come back and they do what they need to do. They do what they need to do. Ilya says, you have to go for fixing World Cup. Oh, come on, Ilya. Come on, play. Raymond March has Messi GOAT. Yes. Yo, what's up? Says SMB. What a game. Yeah, it was a fantastic match of football. A fantastic game of football. Anyone who's watching, anyone can appreciate, just as a football fan, just how brilliant that game of football was. Absolutely fantastic. And the first 60 minutes, I'm thinking Argentina have got this, because France honestly didn't have anything in the game. Barely had any shots, nothing. It was just like, okay, this is going to be Argentina are going to defend their lead. But what did we see? Like we saw against the Dutch, like we saw, like we've seen so many times in Argentina's past, when Argentina put under pressure, then problems happen. Problems happen. And brilliant goal, obviously, from Angel Di Maria to make it 2-0. The penalty, I personally thought, like both penalties, like I thought the penalty that Messi got and then the penalty, the third penalty that Mbappe scored, I thought they were both harsh, but fair enough, they're penalties. It is what it is. But 2-0 up, and you're like, yeah, game over France. And then Mbappe. I mean, I know people are going to talk about, because I want to talk about, because I know people are going to be talking about Messi and he's the GOAT and all that stuff, and I think that's good. That's true. It's important. I want to dedicate time for that. But I've got to talk about two players first before I go into the whole Messi sort of thing. I've got to talk about, on the France side, I've got to talk about Mbappe. And I've got to talk about Emiliano Martinez. Because those two are the reason why we saw today, in my opinion. Mbappe went from a boy to a man today. Mbappe went from a boy to a man. Like, it is unheard of to drop a hat trick in a World Cup final and lose. That is unheard of. You drop a hat trick in a World Cup final and you lose that final. That's unheard of. And even though Mbappe wasn't great, to be honest, for 60 minutes, he wasn't. No Benzema, no Giroud, no Griezmann, no Pogba, no Kante, no Griezmann. None of those. And you carry France at least the penalties. Because let's keep it a stack. France bricked it defensively for the third goal. You know what they were doing there. He carried France in the rest of this game. Mbappe carried France. And it's weird because it's like when I see a performance like that, because that for me is the best Mbappe performance I have seen almost ever. I've never seen an Mbappe performance like that before. And it's almost kind of like, because we're going to talk about Messi being the GOAT and GOAT debates and stuff like that, and so, which is fair enough. GOAT debate, etc. But if Mbappe can play like that for that period of time and do that, then it's almost like it's like Messi is the GOAT for now. You know what I mean? Messi is the GOAT for now because Mbappe being 23, you got a Euros, obviously, in 2 years' time, World Cup in 4 years' time, when Mbappe will be in his prime, and obviously you've got multiple Champions Leagues. He's already like, I know it's all about Messi, but I just want to highlight, and it's because France did fight today, and that's why this was such a really good World Cup. You know, and you know and then you have to think, what happens if Pogba and Kante were in this team? Plus or minus, what happens if Benzema was even involved in this team? You know, so, and the fact that despite all that, Mbappe still dragged France to a penalty, dragged France through, and I think he's only 4 goals away from a total World Cup winner. Incredible. You know, so I think that, you know, because I've been an Mbappe, in quote, hater, you know, for a while. Like I'm saying, he's been a prima donna. He's done this, he's done that. He's not really, you know, he's been this or that or whatever. But the reality is that Mbappe became a man today. Mbappe did when his team, and that's all I ask for footballers, because I'm not one of those fans that says, oh, you have to play best or well for 90 minutes, etc. It's about moments. It's when your team needs you, what do you do? Both Mbappe and Messi were clutch in this final. That's the difference, for example, between Mbappe and Messi and, say, Kane. Messi came clutch for that third goal. Right position, that's what they need. 3-2, come on, let's go. Clutch. Mbappe penalty. He scored past Martinez 3 times, 2 penalties, and in the penalty shootout, he beat Martinez 3 times. That's mentality. Kane couldn't beat Lloris twice. He couldn't beat him twice. You know, so at the end of the day, I've got to commend this for what this French team did. I think you've got to commend them, and there's a lot of potential here. I think, as SMB sort of said, that the chances to go on, your whole team is made off the back of Greaves. If Greaves plays bad, your team can't suffer like that. He looked tactically bankrupt, and that is true. And that is true. And that is true. I think that it'd be very interesting if after this, if Zinedine Zidane comes in. I think after this, I think this is the key time where it's like, right, Zidane now comes in. Zidane now comes in. And then you're like, right, France going into 2026 with Zidane being at the World Cup, that's a narrative. That's a narrative. Dembele, Giroud, yeah, all bad. All bad. All bad. I was very disappointed with Olivier Giroud. Terrible. So bad. Really, really bad. Really bad. But yeah, I mean, to be honest, I think when Thuram came on against Argentina, that for me, that was, if we're looking at when the game changed, it was when Thuram came on for France. When Thuram came on for France, he caused Argentina so many problems. And when Argentina got pegged back by 2, they did what I expected them to do, which is they lost their composure. They lost their composure and they capitulated a bit. But Messi, that's all you can say. Messi, guys, Messi. That was Drew Arsenal. Yeah, this is Drew Arsenal. Yeah. But the thing is, SMB, it's moments. In the second half against England, France's midfield was also overrun. It was overrun massively. Like I'm not trying to pick up England here, but like that England midfield was, that French midfield was being beaten by Henderson. Jordan Henderson was bossing that French midfield. But it's moments. Griezmann, moment of brilliance. Clutch, Giroud, boom, you got it. And here, France had a chance in this game because of one Kylian Mbappe. It was Kylian. You know, so I really want to big Kylian Mbappe up, because I at such a young age, at 23, to do that and to carry your team is just, I've just not seen that before. So I know I'm talking about Mbappe a lot, but I just haven't seen him before, because to be honest, aside from him, Thuram, everyone else kind of just France disappointed. Even Hugo Lloris in goal could have saved 1 or 2 of those penalties, man. I'll big up Varane. As well. Varane did what he needed to do. But it is what it is. But guys, man, before I get on to Messi, let me give some honorable mentions as well. Because, you know, this is going to be a bit of a long live anyway. So, but I want to just go for different people. Yeah, Koundé was horrible as well. Koundé was bad, but he was playing right wing, wasn't he? Let me scroll. Yeah, Koundé was playing right. You know, he was playing right back, and Koundé has been a terrible right back. So I can't really blame Koundé, because that's not his natural position, and he's played bad there. He's always played bad there. Varane, I got to give up Varane and up. I mean, they were dodgy for the 3rd goal, but Varane and Uppercombe, especially Uppercombe, had very, very good games. You know, they did. But let me just say this. Big up Emi Martinez, guys. Big up Emi Martinez. Big up Emi Martinez, guys. Because, and I posted a tweet about this. Is that in one sense, Argentina have to thank Morpay. Argentina have to thank Morpay, who's ironically enough French, from he replaced Everton now, but from Brighton. Because if you recall, if anyone recalls, the reason why Emi Martinez, because Emi Martinez got his chance, the reason why Emi Martinez got his chance in the first place was because Leno got injured. That game, Arsenal versus Brighton, in the memory, no one forgets it. Minor game, but Emi Martinez came in for Leno, got injured. Emi Martinez comes in, and if anyone remembers, Emi Martinez helps Arsenal win the FA Cup by coming clutch against City in the semi-final and Chelsea in the final. People remember Aubameyang, but it was Emi Martinez who came clutch in those games, and he put himself. Obviously he went on to go to Villa. Made Bruno Fernandes miss a penalty. I know this guy, what he does. This is why I'm like, I always trust Emi Martinez in, unless he comes up against a very experienced penalty taker. The dude is a master shot stopper. Big, tall, and today he came clutch again. Penalty against Netherlands, Argentina 2-0 up. And even that last kick game, I think it was Thuram again through. And it's like, man, last kick of the game, makes himself wide and stops Thuram from scoring, man. And saves his team, man. It's 80 people watch. Guys, like the vid. There's a lot of people watching, appreciate it, but make sure you like the vid. But Emi Martinez was absolutely, totally fantastic. He was so fantastic. This guy, let me go around. Let me go because I'm screen sharing here. This guy here, number 23, okay, was fantastic. And if I'm honest, I think he deserves to go to a bigger club. He deserves to go to a bigger club. Like, I'd have him at Manchester United, actually, because I think De Gea is leaving his contract. I would, if I love Emi at Manchester United, because it's like, bro, I don't have to worry about a penalty shooter ever again. I don't have to worry about a penalty shooter ever again if Emi Martinez is go. Manchester United, if you're here, go and sign Emi Martinez ASAP. Sign Emi Martinez ASAP. We need that type of goalkeeper. We need him. SMB is also right. McAllister is European. McAllister was very, very good. McAllister and DePaul. DePaul, who I actually thought was a brick for some of the group games. I thought DePaul was a brick for some of the group games, but as the tournament went on, he grew on me. He really, really did. Henderson Fernandez had a very, very good tournament as well. That's why he won, obviously, his award. Julian Alvarez, overall, if I'm perfectly honest, the Argentinian team does obviously ultimately deserve to win the World Cup. They deserve to win the World Cup. They fought for each other. They did everything for each other. They deserve to win. They deserve to win. Val says, Messi. Yes, yeah, man. Definitely. It's just, oh, guys. Oh my goodness, man. What a game of football. And obviously, you go to this guy, Messi, man. Messi. Emperor Messi. Emperor Messi, man. What can I say? I think the first thing I'll say is that there is no GOAT debate conversation anymore. But at least between him and Ronaldo anyway. CR7. You don't know about, you could maybe make it for R9, possibly. In there. But because it's a debate or discussion. And obviously, with the way Mbappe performed now, you just don't know what the future's going to lie. Because if Mbappe starts to win Champions Leagues, and he wins that World Cup in 2026, the conversation will come back again in 4 years' time. But Messi, for people in the chat, what do people think the future is for Messi? Because as far as I'm concerned, like he's completed football. Like Messi's like he's completed football. Like Messi has completed football. What else? What else is there for Messi to do? Like he doesn't need to do anything else. Like I don't know. Like I, in a way, it's like it's bad, not bad, but like with the league starting, obviously, and going back to business, I don't even know like whether he can even be focused. Like that PSG, that funny enough, that PSG dressing room is going to be very, very interesting. Like that PSG dressing room is going to be very, 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 very interesting. Very interesting. Like you have Mbappe, Neymar, and Messi all in one like room, all in one stadium, right? And Neymar, who's obviously, you know, Neymar's 30, 31, is he? Neymar could probably do one more World Cup. I think Neymar can probably do one more World Cup. But I don't know. I don't know what that PSG dressing room is going to look like because you've got Neymar and Mbappe. I don't know. Will Mbappe recover from this? Yeah, I think he will. He's young, but so soon? Because guys, bear in mind, like it's the World Cup is over. The World Cup is over. League football starts from next week. United form is tomorrow. League football is back. You know, so I think Neymar will be. I mean, it's as I said, Neymar depressed. Mbappe wanting another World Cup, and Messi exactly. But how that will affect PSG, that will remain to be seen because I certainly can't see the chemistry between. I mean, I think Messi and Neymar are good friends, and so it should be fine. But it's gonna hurt. Like it's gonna hurt. Like I just the only people I'd be worried about is if you're PSG fans because I can't see how there'll be great chemistry between Mbappe and Messi and Neymar after what's just happened at this World Cup, in my personal opinion. Let me just read some comments quickly. I'll go back. Let's have a look. Tyrone Lee says, I still think Cristiano Ronaldo is the GOAT. I mean, that's your personal opinion. I mean, I think that I'm quite objective. Like, I love Ronaldo, so I root for Ronaldo, but this is the difference maker. There is no debate anymore between the two. Yes, Ronaldo has like won multiple trophies in different races, and he's got a Euros and but at the end of the day, like he needed the World Cup. He needed the World Cup, and to crash out against Morocco, because really, if you're keeping a stack, Portugal should have beaten Morocco in the quarters, and it should have been Portugal France. Then I don't know who wins that personally. I think France may have still beaten them potentially, but it's over. In my personal opinion, it's over. You needed to get a World Cup. You're 37 years old. The World Cup only comes around every 4 years, and there's no way that at 41 years old you can play in a World Cup. Sorry, CR7. There's no way that you can play a World Cup at 41. So it's over. And with the manner in which you left United, conducted yourself, and all the rest of it, like, if you had, if you had conducted yourself this year in a manner which was very much like, I want to support the team and all these different types of things, and made that transition, and maybe people wouldn't have had that. Maybe people like, what, it is what it is. He respects, etc., etc. But Ronaldo hasn't helped himself by the manner in which he's conducted himself this year. Whether that's because he's had psychological problems or losses, etc. So, yeah, there's no debate in my personal opinion. Yeah, France have got overrun. Yeah, once again. Yeah. Zach says, yeah, yo, shout out to Zach, man, I'm watching on Twitch. Should Mexico? Yep, it's confirmed, at least for now. Anyway, because I do think if Mbappe does what he did, then you just don't know. You don't know what the future holds. Mbappe could no, he couldn't have. He couldn't have. Mbappe couldn't have done anything more. Mbappe did what he could do. Mbappe did all that he could do. There's no um uh I don't know what else Mbappe could have done. I generally don't know what else Mbappe he could have done anything else. He couldn't have done anything else. Make sure you subscribe, by the way. If you're watching, you're new, please subscribe to the channel. It goes a long way. So please share and subscribe. Really, really appreciate it. But yeah, Mbappe could have done anything else, in my personal opinion. He couldn't have. He couldn't have. Barack DeForest says Messi the GOAT. Messi the best player. Proud of him. Exactly. Had a very, very good tournament. I don't disagree with that. And in this era, Messi is the best. Yeah. In this era, like I said, I divide my football eras into classic, modern, and postmodern. So in the postmodern era, which I think we are now in, which for me is really essentially after R9 retired, is what I would say. R9 for me, the 2002, 2004, after that kind of era, is the modern era where you now got systems and things and stuff like that. R9 Zidane for me would be modern era, and after that is essentially after I'd say after World Cup 2006, 2000 and after World Cup 2006. No, after the World Cup 2002 for me, that's the modern era. Yeah. JJ says, hi, buddy. Hope you're doing well. JJ, will Messi play next World Cup? No. He's 35 now, and he'll be first. What? He doesn't have to prove anything. He doesn't have to prove anything now. Why would, he's already on the level of Maradona and not surpassed him based on his club achievements. So he doesn't have to prove anything anymore. And to be honest, I think that it might even for me, what Argentina do, because if I'm honest, if Argentina didn't win this World Cup, I couldn't have seen them win the World Cup for a while, because they're not going to have anyone like Messi ever again. So this was their time. So they're not going to, I know they've got talented players, Alvarez, Fernandez, etc. But, they won this World Cup because of two players, in my opinion, Messi and Emiliano Martinez. And I think when Messi goes, that creativity, that spark, that also is just not going to be there anymore. So this was the time for them to win the World Cup. They won the World Cup, and congrats to them. And Tyron Lee says, the reason why I think he's a GOAT because he proved himself in different leagues. Well, yes, but I don't, that's true to disagree. But at the end of the day, part of being the GOAT is also winning the best competitions and trophies. And the biggest competition in football, whatever you say, is the World Cup. The people that are in the GOAT conversation traditionally usually have to at least have a World Cup. They have to have a World Cup. And right now, Ronaldo will be seen as the second greatest player for this part of the generation to Messi because of the World Cup. There's no debate about that anymore. There's no debate. For me, Messi was always a better player, even if he didn't have the World Cup. But seriously, to me, is the more influential player, if that makes sense. Yes, yeah. For me, it's about what you like, because at the end of the day, I will always respect CR7 because I'm the type of person that always, that because I'm not necessarily talented at any particular thing, but I work really hard. So I will always appreciate the people that work really hard above everything else. Because it just shows you that, even if you're average, even if you don't think you can do it, if you work really hard at something, you can achieve great things. That's why I always love Cristiano Ronaldo. His attitude is an issue, but in terms of that, for me, that's because Messi is just naturally talented. There is no other talented player than Messi. He's just naturally talented, So, and there are people in the world that are just gifted like that. They're just naturally talented. But for me personally, I prefer the people that get to that level through hard work and grit, because it shows that anyone can do it. Whereas no one can be as talented as Messi. Even if you were to, as a kid, practice every day, do all these things. So like, if you don't have that natural talent, you know, then you're still not going to be a Messi. You know what I mean? So that's just my personal philosophy. You know, first Sanchez and Jeff. Yeah, I know with England. I know. And the thing is, he didn't win. Mbappe didn't win. That's the crazy thing. Sorry. That's the crazy thing. Mbappe dropped a hat trick in a World Cup final and didn't win. That is amazing. You drop a hat trick in a World Cup final and you don't win. That's amazing. That is absolutely amazing, man. I don't know what to say to that. Aside from unlucky Kylian. The goalkeeper count, yeah. I mean, I've already obviously talked a bit about how I think that Emiliano Martinez was a difference maker for this Argentina side. Even before the World Cup, in the Copa America, when they faced Brazil, for me, he's a difference maker. You know, I know people talk about Alisson and Alisson and Edison, and they're the best World Cup users, etc. But in a penalty shootout and as a shot stopper, it's gonna be Emi Martinez without a shadow of a doubt. It's gonna be Emi Martinez, man. You know, so I think that you gotta congrats these guys. You know, I know a lot of Argentina. They're bouncing, man. They're bouncing, man. They're bouncing. They're bouncing. They are bouncing. They are bouncing. What can I say, man? They're bouncing. They're bouncing, and as they should, because the World Cup has finally come back to the World Cup is the World Cup is has come back to South America, and it was quite heartwarming to see a lot, even Brazilians supporting Argentina, because it was like we're tired of the Europeans having won it so many times, and they've been ridiculous. Because I think it's almost been 20 years. Because it was 2002 was when Brazil won it last, and it's 2022. 20 years, 20 years. You know, so it is what it is. You know, it is what it is. Messi won it for South America, and they deserved it ultimately. Mbappe is the go. I relax on that, not just yet. Mbappe's still young. He could win more World Cup and Ballon d'Or until that Messi. Yeah, no, exactly. For me, but I think for me, Raymond, I think why I talk about the Mbappe is that yes, he's young, but that wasn't a young man's performance today. You know, there are older players who have not done what Mbappe did today. You know what I mean? There are older players that haven't done what Mbappe did today. I mean, I'm even trying to remember, how old was Messi in 2014? Because really, from World Cup members, I can only remember Messi in the 2014 and this one. They got knocked out in 2018. It was nothing, and then I don't know what happened in 2010. He played, but he wasn't really relevant there. But the point is, I think it's just that for me, as I think I said a few earlier in the stream, this is where for me Mbappe went from just being young or a boy to being a man, because you carried your team through this game. And that's what great players do. It's not just about necessarily about playing good and skills and dribbles and stats and all the rest of it. It's that when your team needs you, what do you do? And like I said, Kane for England, his team needed him to score that penalty. You're the captain, you need to score that penalty. Same thing with Van Dijk. You score that penalty, first one against Argentina. You do that. You need to do that. You couldn't do it. It is what it is. But you gotta get it done. And Mbappe got it done. He couldn't have done anything else. He got it done. He got it done. So I think, as far as I'm concerned, Messi is, as you said, Messi is the GOAT. Oh yeah. They had a disaster in 2010. Yes, I remember. Yeah, they were destroyed, weren't they, by Germany? Yeah, in the quarterfinals. Yeah, I remember now. But yeah, so you're doing that at the age. Mbappe's got at least another 1, 2, 3. What, the next World Cup he'll be 27, and then, I mean, you could argue, depending on how far it goes, Mbappe potentially has another 3 World Cups: 27, 31, and 35, depending on how far it goes. So no, yeah, no doubt. I mean, if he continues the trajectory and wins Champions League and stuff like that, he can talent. But yeah, you're definitely right. As of now, Messi is the de facto GOAT. Martinez is good goal. Arsenal give him. Yeah, I don't know where Arsenal didn't. They chose. Although, to be fair, Ramsdale's been pretty solid. But for me, they should have kept anyone. If Emi Martinez doesn't get moved to a bigger club, I don't know. McAllister at Brighton is probably due a big move as well. So we'll see what happens there. Olaf Arlen says, "Who won? Argentina, buddy. Were you watching the game? How did you not know that Argentina won?" Anal Kun says, "Messi's the GOAT." Yes, Olaf, bro. Who? It's lit. Anyway, I'm going to ignore you. I'm assuming you're a troll, because unless you've been watching or been living under a rock, you should know that Argentina won this game. Come on. The only goalkeeper right now that could compete in a penalty shootout with everyone was Donnarumma. To me, yeah. Donnarumma. I mean, ultimately, it's height and how big you are. Like, if you are a bigger keeper, you've got height, and you're imposing, you're going to be able to save penalties. As simple as that. You are. Ironically enough, Jordan Pickford's actually pretty good at saving penalties, and he's actually not that short. So maybe some of it is also technique as well. Would you say the final is greatest World Cup final of all time? Me, I believe it tops my final. That's the best. Yeah, I from what I've seen in my lifetime. I mean, that is a question. I mean, maybe I'll put that into the chat, but I can't think of a World Cup final that was better than that in my lifetime. In my lifetime, I can't think of a better World Cup final. Because it had everything, at least after 60 minutes. After 60 minutes, it started to get good. For the first 60 minutes, okay, yeah, Argentina 2-0 up, and it was like, yeah, okay, they probably got this. It is what it is. And then Argentina bottled a 2-0 lead, like they did against Netherlands. Geez, these guys. I mean, I gotta say, this is why I gotta say, like, that you got to credit Emi Martinez, because Argentina showed that when they are put under pressure, they do bottle it. When they put under pressure in games, they bottle it. Because when France scored the equalizer, it was like I couldn't recognize Argentina again. They were all over the place, and France had the momentum. And I would make an argument, had some of the better chances towards the end of the second half and even in extra time. Obviously, Argentina scored, and it was like, yes, Messi scored the third. It's over. They started time wasting a bit, which was bad, because then France went on to get the penalty and score. So I think Argentina, you have to credit Emi Martinez, because in both games, when they bottled it against Netherlands, like conceding a 2-0 lead and bossing 12 times, their keeper came clutch and did what they needed to do. But yeah, it had drama, it had everything. 2-0 down, France come back to make it 2-2. Goes extra time. Messi scores again, and you're like, Messi's won it for Argentina. Then Mbappe gets a penalty. Mbappe equalizes and scores a hat trick. The misses the opportunities. Then Messi winning it. It's probably the greatest World Cup final. You can make an argument that this is one of the greatest World Cups, potentially. I didn't like the semis. I thought the semis were very disappointing. Croatia against Argentina and Morocco against France. But ultimately, the World Cup has been very, very entertaining. Brilliant World Cup. Brilliant. The ref from Poland had a great game. Turned out the correct choice to get the nod to ref the final. You controlled the game brilliant. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I was annoyed at him a few times because I was like, at some point, Messi deserves a yellow card here. Like, he deserves a yellow. Like, he's been committing a lot of fouls and he's not getting a yellow. So please stop with this fanboyism. So, but overall, you're right. He had a very good game, and generally speaking, let the game flow. Unlike that coach who ref the Argentina-Netherlands game, 15 yellow cards. Couldn't even control the game. What's wrong with you, buddy? What's wrong with you? Yeah, that's one. Yeah, 3 World Cups, possibly, exactly. Yeah, exactly. That's why you don't know, because if Mbappe were to win 2 other World Cups, I don't think you could. I don't think you could even and win Champions Leagues in between those times. I don't think you could even have a conversation. I don't think you could, but that's for another time. 7 pens for Argentina is madness. Yeah, but it is with their penalties upon these. Acuna should never wear an Argentina shirt ever again. That Di Maria for Acuna sub is one of all-time worst subs that I've ever seen in Argentina. Yeah, I don't really know. This is the thing, like, I know Scalani, I don't know. Like, I'm glad he won a World Cup, but I mean, like, I personally don't rate the guy. I think that he got bailed out by individual brilliance by the Argentinian side. I don't think Scalani was that great of a coach. Glad that he won in Argentina. I'm sure he's happy, and he's happy for Argentina, and that's great. But yeah, Scalani didn't really impress me, to be honest. This World Cup tactically, because you in 2 games, this you conceded 2 goals. Sorry, you lost the game from a 2-0 lead. I don't know. I don't. He wasn't right. Ashish Yad versus suddenly plates has changed, but I love France. What do you mean? I'm not sure what you mean by that, Ashish. Latara coming on after providing outlet was key to me. Yes. When you're being pinned down, you have to fight back, not contain. Yeah. Well, this is the thing. He did this against the Netherlands, and he did this again, and it's like, I hope this means that this type of football, like, goes in the fossil bin, because at the end of the day, like, he did this against the Netherlands, took Demiral to contain, and Weghorst scored a brace. If you give the momentum to the other team, especially a team like France that has someone like Mbappe, you're going to be... And I must say, I know I keep talking about Mbappe because obviously I'm missing, but that second goal by Mbappe, man, after the penalty, that finish was world-class. I don't care what anyone says. Come on. That second finish by Mbappe was world-class. To side foot it from the angle it was world-class. I was like, what? It was ridiculous. Sorry, that's me. Abel Samuel says, Messi. Yes, man. Messi indeed. And I mean, he might announce his retirement tomorrow. Like, literally, would you be surprised if Messi's like, I'm going to retire now? Like, he said he said he'll decide his future after the World Cup, but like, bro could retire. Like, for me, if I was Messi, I'd be like unless Messi really, really, really enjoys football so much that he just wants to continue winning, and he wants to say win another Champions League, because he's not going to be playing in another he's not going to be playing in another World Cup anytime soon. Yes, okay, maybe he's still, because how old is he now? He's 35. Maybe he could play another Copa in 2 years' time, possibly. But bro, man, he's 35. I think for me, if I was him, I'd be like, listen, finish the year at PSG. Chip Gaming, I don't know what, bro. I don't know what you're talking about there, buddy. And I saying the goat. Listen, Gid, Ilya, Gid, you got to get it done, Gid. Good. Messi got it done. Messi got it done. That's why he's the GOAT right now. That's why he's the GOAT. That's why it's the GOAT. Guys, there's 90 plus people watching. I need those likes up on my vid. I need those likes up on the vid. Please increase, smash the like button and subscribe if you're new. We are literally witnessing greatness here in that Lionel Messi has finally won the World Cup. And we are not going to see another World Cup for, goodness knows how long. Goodness knows how long. We just won't see it again. And this is exactly, and Raymond's like, Messi has won it all exactly. Times exactly. I just don't see, because he clearly gave his all in this tournament. And as I've already said, I feel like the PSG situation is going to be a bit weird. It's going to be a bit weird at PSG. Like, I would pay for someone to put in a camera, like, from January and see the PSG dressing room. I will pay someone top dollar, if you can, to put a camera in the PSG dressing room, because I don't know how are you going to have a dressing room with Neymar, MBAPPE, and World Cup winner Messi in that one dressing room? I don't know how it's going to happen. I don't know how that is going to happen. Like, I don't know how it's going to happen. I really don't. I don't know how it's going to happen, So please, please, just think about, like, just PSG fans are going to suffer, basically. PSG fans are going to suffer. But you're right. Ultimately, you're right, Raymond. I just don't really see what Messi, unless Messi truly loves football and wants to be playing. I don't get that same drive from him that, say, Ronaldo has, where he still believes he can play at the top level and do bits and pieces, stuff like that. I just don't see that from him. I personally think that Messi would rather choose to retire. Now, that might be that after PSG, he decides to go to MLS, because he always wants to go to America, play there, he'll be welcome there, love life, etc., etc. Maybe he goes back to Argentina, possibly. I mean, I still think that even PSG wants to give him a new contract, so he can still play. But I don't know. I just think that retire on a high, man. Retire on a high. You don't have anything to prove to anyone. So retire on a high, in my opinion. Just retire on a high. And Daniel says, Messi. Ilya says again, Ilya, man, you're the anti-Messi person here, man. You just gotta celebrate it, man. You gotta celebrate. There's nothing that you can do. Like, there's nothing you can do. He's achieved all that he needs to achieve in football. Now, at the end of the day, like, you can't hate. Like, if it makes you feel better, Ilya, Manchester United are coming back again. Manchester United are playing football again. So if that makes you feel better, Manchester United are back soon. So we'll see what happens. It is what it is. And also, it doesn't really make sense, because at the end of the day, even if the Qatar owner paid Messi to win, like, it's still going to cause disunity in the PSG dressing room, isn't it? Because PSG want to win the Champions League above all else. And you're not going to win a Champions League when, like, Mbappe isn't passing to Messi. Because you got to understand that traditionally, the World Cup would be in the summer, and you'd have at least 3 weeks before the end of the season. Now, I mean, if I'm getting this correctly, let's have a look. Yeah, PSG's next game, I think, is this in the league? Oh, it's a club. No, it's a friendly. Let's have a look. Yeah, PSG's game in Ligue 1. They've got a club friendly against Quively Rowan, whoever that is, but I doubt Mbappe will play and that he's going to rest. So the next game is on the 28th. So they essentially have what, just over a week, and then boom, they're back. They're back to club football. You know, 1st of Jan, club football, everything is back. You know, so it's going to be difficult. I think it's going to be difficult for all of them. It is. Yes, talk. Well, Manchester United content will be back from next week. United form will be back. Burnley and United for Burnley versus United in the Carabao Cup. All that will be back. But man, man, oh man, oh man, oh man, it is what it is. There's a few people saying that CR7 is a real good coming in, man. X-Locus says CR7 is a real good. I mean, that's your opinion. Ultimately, it's your opinion. But at the end of the day, guys, Messi has a World Cup. Messi has a World Cup, and you're not going to take that from him. But Mbappe, man, Mbappe, it's Mbappe. I don't know what else to say really about Mbappe, Messi. You know, I thought football is over, so but at the end of the day, my goodness, man, this has been a fantastic World Cup. This has been a fantastic World Cup. I don't know what else to say about it. It's been great. Like, I'm a bit disappointed because, you know, just coming back and watching football and just really sort of doing it, like, I just like, you know, and also shout out to my man Lisandro Martinez, by the way, man. Shout out to Lisandro, man. I love that nice bro moment between him and what's this? Let's have a look. I'll just look some questions here. How do you even come back? Yeah. I don't know. How do you even come back? I don't know. This is what concerns me. And I might put a tweet out about this, but it does concern me a little bit because so many players played a lot of football here and it drained them. It drained them emotionally, mentally, maybe even spiritually. And to then go straight back into club football, I don't know. I just think that because at least when the World Cup was during the summer, you could just, okay, vacation, forget about it, and then back to club football. Here, you're like midway through a season. You know, forget about it, and I'm going to restart next season. Here, you're midway through a season. It can't not affect it. It can't. In fact, I'm going to make a tweet about it. In fact, let me just. Thanks for reminding me about that. Let me quickly put this. 2 seconds. I'll make a tweet about this because it's. It'll be interesting to see how. Is affected. Because I do think it will have an effect. I do think it will have an effect, a significant effect, you know, but we'll see. In 3 days we're playing. So this is what I mean. Like this is what I mean. Like this is genuinely what I mean because 3 days United playing Burnley. Like we had like Varane and Lisandro Martinez like are both play the final. There's no way that like if you look at the four, I think the only United players I can think of are Lisandro and Varane. Yeah, they obviously played well. Lisandro didn't really play a final, but he was there, and Varane, you know, who did play. I think that's it. But that's two Manchester United defenders. That's our best defenders. So you're gonna have to play Maguire and Lindelof. You are. You're gonna have to play Maguire and Lindelof. It is what it is, you know. So um it's a very good point. Like um I do think that like I love this World Cup. I think this World Cup has been great. I think it's been fantastic. I think that final was absolutely amazing. Um, but I am a little bit worried about how it will affect club football going forward because players don't have a break. They're going straight back in. They've not recovered mentally, physically, emotionally. And as a United fan who wants Manchester United to get top four and to do something this season, even the likes of Arsenal and so many other players, like the emotion that would have gone into it, like it just can't not affect the club. And clubs that would have momentum, like Arsenal, for example, in the league, even Serie A teams, for example, that momentum might go, and you don't know what's going to happen next. You know, so I think it's important to bear that in mind, man. I definitely think that's important to bear in mind. That would the World Cup. Yes, that's what I said. Yeah, Varane. Yeah, he didn't. Varane didn't have anything left. He didn't. He didn't have anything left. He didn't have anything left. Um, yeah, this cup. What's your thoughts on CR7G? I still want him in our squad. I mean, you mean CR7 in general? So what are my thoughts on Cristiano Ronaldo, Raymond? Sorry, I hope you're still watching. You know, my thoughts are this. I think the manner which he left Manchester United was dumb. And the only reason I could explain that is if he genuinely had a good club lined up, European club or something. I don't know, or the environment in Manchester United was just getting very toxic for him. I don't know. I don't know what the situation is, but for me, it didn't make sense to leave Manchester United halfway through a season, playing in one of the best leagues in the world, to basically be a free agent. Because, like, I mean, if he announces, "Oh yeah, I'm going to be playing for a Serie A club or etc.," it's fine. But if he's like, "I left Manchester United to play for a Saudi team," I don't know, man. It's the way that he's ended the legacy. Like it's also on a sour note. Is my personal opinion. As for him being in the squad, that's up to the board to make the right signings, because I do agree that I'd have liked him to still be in the squad, because we don't have. I'm not going to rely on. I know this is getting to a Manchester United conversation with those who aren't. Sorry, I've been speaking a lot for about almost an hour or so, so my lips are dry. But I I don't trust Martial, who hasn't even played in this World Cup, and yet is injury prone. And I don't trust um, uh, well, Sancho, we know is, I don't know what he's doing. So really, Sancho's not available. Martial is kind of hit and miss because of his injuries. So really, you're relying on just a front line of Rashford, Anthony, and Garnacho. And that's a problem, you know. That's a problem. So it is what it is. United need to buy in January and need to buy quickly. Whether that's Gakpo or not, I don't know, but they need to increase their squad depth. Because I would have, because it's a massive blow for the squad. I agree with that, Raymond. Oh yeah. Oh, I hope that it's a tweak. I mean, to be honest, we shouldn't have to play Varane in a Carabao Cup against Burnley. I'll keep it a stack. But I hope whatever injury Varane has, it's not long term. Because yeah, I thought about that. It's not like we don't need Varane against Burnley, although Weghorst is a problem. But we don't need a Varane. We shouldn't need Varane against Burnley. So I hope that the players. It's just that, as SMB rightfully said, I expect a lot of players, especially if they played in the semi-final and final, to have like at least a few weeks, maybe 2 weeks off at least. Quarters, I would be still surprised, because I mean, I'd still be surprised if they played right away, because the quarterfinals was just last weekend, so they've had a week off. So I expect every player that's played to have at least 2 weeks off before returning to club football. So I expect a highly changed side in that game against Burnley. We'll do our starting prediction for the preview. So, but I expect a highly changed side, in my personal opinion. Go Southwest UK says hi. Thank you, buddy. Hope you're doing well. Abbas says lead level. Oh yeah, bro. I'll take the L, man. I'll take the L. But at the end of the day, like I said, I'm a football fan first, man. I'm a football fan. I try and get this. One of the things I try and do is on this channel is that I'm a football fan first. And at the end of the day, like, what I don't like is when people is when people is when you don't get it done. It's when you don't get it done. That's what I don't like. And you blame other people and you don't take responsibility and you shaft and all that stuff like that. That's what I don't like. What Messi did today in this final at the end of the day is that he took responsibility and he helped his team win the World Cup. That's all I can ask. He didn't hide. He didn't ghost. He didn't crab under the pressure. He did what he needed to do. And that's all you can ask. And likewise, so did Mbappe. That's why I think the future is bright for football. Because if Mbappe performs the way he did, football's in safe hands, man. Because like I said, I think that after this, I think that if I was Messi, I'd announce my retirement. End on a high. You don't need to do anything else in football. You don't need to prove anything else in football, Messi. You don't. Yeah, no, they won't play. They won't play. It will be, to be honest, I don't even know whether Maguire will play. Because, like I said, I think at least 2 weeks off between tournaments, I think is key. So, if I was to predict the centre back, I'd say that Lindelof would be there, and probably Jones, because they both but they both have rested. And then, like, okay, I'll go on a tangent. This is my prediction for the United game against Burnley, and I'll show it later, and then we'll go on this. Minor tangent, but just bear with me for those who are watching. De Gea will be in goal. You have Jones and Lindelof. You have because Dallo was, so you probably have Wan-Bissaka at right back. Then left back, you probably have Brandon Williams. Then in the midfield, which is be interesting, I think the midfield you have McTominay. You will have who else could you have in the midfield? Who else? Maybe Fred, because Fred didn't really play, so maybe you could play McFred, possibly. I don't know who else actually. Maybe some kids like as Zidane Iqbal or something like that might be able to come in. Possibly, because you've got to give Casemiro a rest as well. So maybe it'll be that. And then the front three, Martial, because he'll be fit, Garnacho because he didn't go. And then possibly this is difficult. I'm not sure. I'd have to think. I'm not sure. Anyway, let's go. Army Grill says, "Yay, Jitsu Argentina!" So a lot of people from around the world celebrating Argentina, man. Argentina. Is that supposed to be a Sue? I don't know. I'm getting one from all these different places. I don't know. And Raymond says, "I hope this incident with Ronaldo and United will not tarnish his legacy as a club, and he will always be our GOAT." I mean, I would really like to know the real reasons to why, like, he left. And because I just don't understand, you know, even if the manager wants you dropped, all these different sort of things, like, unless you have a bigger club to go to, like, let's say he has, like, if he had an offer from Chelsea or anything like that, then sure. But the fact that, like, he didn't, it looks like he doesn't, concerns me. Like, I personally don't get it personally. Like, why would you leave Manchester United midway through a season, playing one of the biggest leagues in the world, to be basically clubless? Like, it doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense. Mr. Beast, okay, fair enough. Messi is he? I don't think so. Although he had some interesting tactics. I'm not gonna lie, he definitely had some interesting tactics in the game. But I mean, nah, come on. You can't. Like I said, you cannot hate on this guy. I mean, I don't even know what else there is to say really about this game. Really, it was so. It was one of the best games of football, and a World Cup final of all time. It just was. I don't know what else there is to say about it. Like, it was just. I mean, what else to say? By the way, guys, who's watching, make sure you subscribe, guys. Make sure you subscribe. Come on, guys. How many people watching? Come on, get those subs up. Like the vid, like the vid, like the vid, and subscribe if you're new. It goes a long way, so get me those subscriptions, get me those likes up. It goes a long way. Please subscribe if you're new. It'll be great. So please do, It really does go a long way, But, I Emmy Martinez, man, is just it's I mean, let me know what people think in the chat, but I think for me, this has certainly been one of the best, if not the best, World Cup of this generation. I mean, Lego606 says, like, Messi over Ronaldo. And yeah, I mean, the debate's over. There's no debate. So much so that, like, I don't even see any point in even discussing it, because a lot of people bring up Ronaldo this. I don't even see the point in even discussing it, because, like, it's over. The debate is officially over. There is no debate anymore. What exactly is there to debate about? Like, the only thing that you can really say in in Ronaldo's defense is just that he played in other leagues. He played in Serie A, played in the Premier League, and he did those things. But it doesn't matter at the end of the day. Like, the World Cup is the biggest competition, if not the biggest competition in sport. It is. It really is. So just Argentina needed to win that World Cup. They needed to win that World Cup, and at the end of the day, Messi delivered. It is what it is. Ronaldo says, Raymond says, Ronaldo could still play next World Cup and chase that goat. At 41, nah, man. Unless, like, nah. Like, he's 37 now, and the Euros will be in 2 years' time, so we'll have to play that. I mean, he could potentially play a Euros, but nah. It's like it's over. It's over, really. It's over. There's nothing that Ronaldo could do that. I can't. Even if he somehow won the Champions League this season and won the Euros next, like, it's a World Cup, though. It's a World Cup. You can't. And the reality is that he never was able to take Portugal to a World Cup final. Like, they had the final in Greece, which they flopped. They obviously won the final against Euros against Was it France? Yeah, it was France, wasn't it? When they won, was it Portugal? Was it against France? Or was it against Germany? I have a feeling it was against France. Shout out to France, man. How many finals do these guys go through? Whatever you say about them, shout out to them. Shout out to them. How many finals, you know? So, but yeah, but the reality is that and I know Portugal have had bad teams, but you got to get it done if you're going to be considered the GOAT. Yeah, but it's the team. Portugal team is yeah, exactly. I mean, to be honest, Portugal actually had a better team this I think it's just the tactics. I actually think Portugal had a team. If Portugal had like any other manager, I think that they actually might have actually done something at this World Cup. But I said before the World Cup started that they needed to sack uh, Santos. He's just not the right manager for this Portuguese team. Sorry, hold on for 1 second, everybody. 1 second. I'll be right. Okay. Sorry, probably people probably saw that image of Ronaldo. It's like, well, he's no longer the GOAT anymore, or like, or he's not. That debate is over. You know, that is over. But yeah, Ronaldo is very, very good. Not this year. He's not been good this year. I'm not gonna lie. Mr. Beast, is he the actual real Mr. Beast? Ronaldo was good, but no, he would retire if he wasn't if he wasn't earnings. Ronaldo was good, but no, he would retire if he wasn't earning so much. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I think that I don't know. I just think that Ronaldo, it's over. Um, you know, I don't see Ronaldo playing a World Cup at 41, um, unless he's somehow able to magically turn back the clock. And like for me, the only way that Ronaldo would salvage this is if somehow from now, the next 4 years, he just plays insanely well and wins leagues and Champions Leagues and then leads his team to a World Cup. And I just can't see if he was able to if he did that, then there would be no debate about who's the greatest of all time because it's like no player has ever done that at that age. You know, but I just can't see that happening because at the end of the day, how many good world class, 40-year-olds do you see? Even Zlatan, who I actually think has actually got more technical ability than Ronaldo, isn't able to do it, so he's got to be real, he's got to realize his limitations, and then he's got to deal with it. But whether he can do that or not, remains to be seen, in my personal opinion. Jeez. Let me just scroll down. Man, I'll just quickly just share the just quickly share uh, the image. I mean, yeah, this is the one. This is the one. This is the one. This is the image everyone wants to see. Just stop screen for a second so you can see my ugly mug. No, it's not ideal. But this is the image, guys. This is the image, man. This is the image that everyone wants to see. I know it's a bit pixelated, so I'll see if I can find something a little bit better. But this is the image everyone wants to see, man. Best player of a tournament and best player. This guy, he's the best player of this generation, man. I just don't think that there's anything that can be said about that. He is the best player. Sorry, he is the best player of this generation. I want people to click me here because I don't know what else I can say. I mean, look at that. I mean, I don't know why. Why did they get him to wear that? That I didn't quite. Can anyone explain that for me? Why did they get him to wear? Like, why didn't he just have the Argentine thing on? Why did they get him to wear that? Like, was there a reason for that? Let me know if there's a reason for that. Please let me know. Please let me know. It's still streaming, guys. If you have any questions, stuff like that, please let me chat because I'm going to be live for quite some time because this is and if you want to get involved in the chat as well, please let me know if you want to come on and discuss because my goodness, man, it's geez, it's something, man. It's something. It really, really is. It really is something. It really is something. There are a lot of people with receipts. There are a lot of people with receipts against Messi, man. But like, I respect. I respect getting it done, and I respect not shirking responsibility. That's the way that I see it. Really, that is the way that I see it. Michael Crawley says hi. Mevinson, shout out to everyone from around the world, man. Let me know where you guys are from. Like, put it in the chat. Where you guys watching from? Where you guys when you saw Messi win the World Cup? Where were you watching from? I'm watching from London, UK. Where were you watching from when you saw Messi win the World Cup? Mevsing Ring says Ronaldo try next time. Messi best player. It is what it is. X Slizer says, is this Messi's last World Cup? Possibly. Yeah. So I've just seen your comment again. Yeah. Is Messi last World Cup? Possibly. Like I said before, I personally think he should retire. Because I think that it would be like at the end of the day, he will be now let's face it, I just can't see him being this effective 4 years from now. Like 35 is still, with his fitness, a good age. But 4 years from now, he's going to be 39. And I just can't see him being that effective. And why would you want to go to America, play at 39 and get embarrassed? Like, I don't know. I just can't see that. I think that Argentina need to put this almost chapter to the history to celebrate with Messi, rejoice at Messi, celebrate they won the World Cup, do all those things. But they almost need to kind of close this chapter and begin a new one. It would be a really, 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 really big mistake if they were to just continue with this whole Messi thing. Congratulate him, send him on his way, and it is what it is. That's what I would do. Casas, Sweden, stop kidnapping. Okay. From Morocco. Congratulations, Lionel Messi. Thank you for breaking France, who are cheaters. Are they? Desde Morocco, felicidades, Lionel Messi. Gracias por Frankie. Are they? I mean, they're not that. I mean, they're not that bad. Come on. I think both teams. Let's keep it stacked. Both teams wanted to win. Both teams wanted to win today. They wanted to win today, and they put their hearts out. And I have to respect what Messi and Argentina did. I've got to respect what MBAPPE and France did as well. And like I said several times, like, take nothing from Messi. He did what he had to do, but I will hang my hat on the fact that I genuinely believe that if Emiliano Martinez wasn't Argentina's goalkeeper, they don't win this, in my personal opinion. Filthy says, I know you are. Finally, yeah, the true goats. Respect. Yes, yes, yes. Well, he's got a World Cup now. He's got a World Cup. He's got a World Cup. You know, he's at the end of the day, he's got a World Cup. What can I say? He's got a World Cup. He's got a World Cup. There's no debate anymore. There's no debate. I don't know why people say Cristiano Ronaldo is the real GOAT. I mean, I don't know why people say that either, but I mean, at the end of the day, like, it's not a debate, but I don't think you have to, like, this is why I don't like some football fans that, like, at the end of the day, like, you can praise someone else without discrediting what that person achieved in football. Like, I'm seeing people be like, "Oh, now CR7 will be forgotten," for example. It's like, how though? How will he be forgotten? You know what I mean? Like, it's just like no, like, people will be remembered for different reasons, and especially when you have a brand that big, there's no way it'll be forgotten. So at the end of the day, you've got to. The debate was always about none of them have a World Cup. Messi's got the World Cup, so he goes ahead of Ronaldo, whatever you say. Even the most diehard Ronaldo fanboy has to accept that. But um, uh, football's a team game, in my personal opinion. And also, you don't know what the future will hold, because, like I said, if Mbappe win, if from now till the next World Cup, Mbappe wins Champions Leagues, how many Champions Leagues, and he goes on to win another World Cup, people will be saying in 4 years' time that Mbappe is potentially one of the goats. Because he's 23, so he's still got at least 23, 27, 31, at least three, possibly four if he goes to 39. I don't know how things will be, but he's got at least 3 World Cups left. So at the very least, he's got the opportunity to win 2, possibly maybe even 3, depending on how good he is and what the competition is like later. But there are a lot of people in the chat anti-Messi. I don't know where this is coming from. I know I'm a United channel, but still, the robe symbolizes GOAT. Just kidding. Yeah, it's interesting. It is interesting. Says one thing France can be joyful is how young the team is, and Mbappe's in 23, even though he's dating. Okay, yeah, okay. I don't know what's okay. We'll relax on that. But at the end of the day, France. Like I said, I think this was Argentina. In my opinion, this was their chance. This is their kind of last chance to win. If they didn't win now, then I couldn't really see Argentina winning like a World Cup anytime soon. And I think that now going forward, because going forward, I think France don't have to do anything. France have got a lot of potential going forward. I think going forward for Argentina, they need to put this Messi chapter to rest. Celebrate him as their best player, but they need to put it to rest, because the biggest mistake for them would be to beg Messi to stay, and continue to stay, and tarnish your legacy. I just think that wouldn't be appropriate. I actually have. Let me see. I have an Argentinian friend. I wonder what she's. So look. Where is it? No, it's not here. Okay. Anyway, regardless, at the end of the day, man, shout out to Messi, man. Shout out to Lionel Messi. He came, he saw, he conquered. Emperor Messi, as people call him. Emperor Messi. Emperor Messi. Sarah Rashers. Yeah, I don't get that. See, this is a comment that I don't get. I don't understand. Why? What has he not done? What has he not done? I mean, let me just if I can just get into the chat. I'll put a poll into the chat because I've been speaking for a while, but I do want to kind of go live for a bit longer because this is obviously an amazing achievement from Lionel Messi. And if you do have any questions in the chat, please let me know. It goes along, and like the vid if you're new. Remember, it goes a long way. Let's have a look. Yes. Let me just quickly put a poll in the chat. And it's just a simple question. Is Messi the GOAT? Actually, no. That's too obvious. Should Messi retire now? That's what I put in the chat. Do you guys think that Messi should retire from football now? Now that he's won everything in football, do you guys think that Messi should retire from football? Not just international football. I mean football in general. Because let's keep it a stack. Like, what are you gonna do at PSG? You know what I mean? Like, what exactly is Messi going to do at PSG? Like, there's no PSG is like a party thing, and I also don't know um how you go back to a club where you are gonna be envied by Neymar and Mbappe. Like, you're literally gonna be envied by Neymar and Mbappe all the time. Mbappe maybe Mbappe maybe just because he's a kid and he's like, crap, I don't like the fact that I just don't like the fact that um uh that I lost to Messi in a final and so I'm annoyed by that. But for me, it's Neymar, man. For me, it's Neymar because at the end of the day, like um Neymar, in his mind, it's like if I'm going to be considered a success of Brazil, I need to win something internationally. Neymar has been, yeah, Neymar has been difficult. He has been very, very. You look at Messi's career, it can be like, wow. AdSense for one. Oh, thank you in the chat, man. Hope you're doing well, buddy. If you want to come on, let me know. In fact, I'll put a for those who want to come on and discuss the Messi triumph. I'll put it in the chat actually because I've been talking to myself for a while now. So for those who want to come on, if you want, I put the link in the chat and I'll put a tweet out. Sorry. Let's have a look. See. Right, I'll just tweet that out just for those who want to come on. Oh, yeah, I see. I'm gonna bring you in a second. Messi went to PSG to achieve something with them. He still has a mission. I don't know. I mean, and I remember Raymond. He didn't go. It was keep it a stack. He didn't want to leave Barcelona. He didn't leave. He didn't leave Barcelona. He was forced out of Barcelona because of the financial situation, and Laporte being a brick. Like if it was his will, he would have stayed at Barcelona. I don't think he has any. I think Messi only does one or two things. He either semi-retires and plays in the MLS, or he goes back to Barcelona. I can't see him staying at PSG long term. PSG was just a team that had enough money to buy him. Let me bring my man Ad74 in, man, who must be very, very happy. Ad744, man, bro, how are you feeling today? How are you feeling?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah, go for it, man. Go for it.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm fine, man. I'm happy Messi won the World Cup, and
Mm.
hard luck to France, man. I actually am surprised. I did not expect them to go back, reach back-to-back finals. It's pretty
Yes,
incredible.
yes, yeah. Speak. I mean, was this one of the best finals of World Cup history? Finals in general, what? How would you like? Because obviously people talk about Messi the GOAT, etc. And obviously it's true, but like just as a spectacle, how did you find this game?
Oh yeah, this final was definitely one of the best. And it was actually interesting because we didn't think it would be one of the best because of how lopsided it was.
Yeah,
Because for most of this game, France were terrible. Like, I'm sorry,
yeah,
most
yeah.
of this game, France were not good. And the
Mm,
fact that they still managed to come from behind
mm,
2-2 and that kind of
mm,
dramatic fashion is incredible. Like, it's the
yeah.
World Cup because I'll be honest with you, the semifinals for me this World Cup were pretty
You know,
disappointing. Like,
they weren't
it wasn't that good.
great. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
and
I think a lot of that, I think a lot is because like I think people expected, you know, it's because the teams that should have done their jobs didn't. So I
yeah,
think it'd been different if it had been a Brazil Argentina final, and like for example, maybe a Portugal or a Spain versus France semifinal. Then
yeah.
people would have been a bit different, but they didn't do their job, and it is what it is. But yeah, sorry, go on.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, I'm still happy that we still had the semifinals. Like, it's nice to still see we have like two underdog nations. Like,
Mm,
it's kind of like both good and bad in some ways. Obviously,
mm,
it
mm,
led to the semis not really being that interesting, but it's
mm,
obviously good for football. African nation
mm.
finally making the semifinals, and obviously
Exactly.
Croatia making it to back to back semifinals is pretty incredible. And
Mm,
the size of Croatia is insane. Like 4 million people. Like even my own state in the USA is like more
mm.
people. It's insane.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I mean, I put it in the chat and stuff like that. I mean, I don't. There's obviously not a debate about goats anymore. That debate is now ended. Gone. There's not even a conversation anymore.
Yeah.
But an interesting question, and I posted the poll in the chat, is like, do you think that Messi should like end football? Should he's achieved everything he's achieved in football? Should he be like, right, I've done it, I can leave, I can retire now? Or do you think that you still think that he has more to give to football? He should continue like playing. Like, what do you think about that?
Well, in terms of international, I think it's done. Like, I don't see it. There's no point. I think international is
Mm,
done. Now,
mm,
club football, I can maybe see for maybe Champions League, because to be fair, he's not really been good. He's not really won a Champions League some time now. So maybe go
mm,
for another Champions League.
mm,
And let's be real, the last couple of Champions League seasons been disappointing. So maybe if he could win one, it would kind of like look better in the legacy
mm,
wise, because the
mm.
Champions League legacy is not looking great right now for Messi. To be fair.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, but I mean, I still think you got a World Cup. Like it doesn't even really like matter. Like I mean, R9 didn't have a Champions League. Zidane had one. Yeah, one
I
or
think it's
two.
one.
One. Ronaldinho had. Did Ronaldinho have one or two? I have a feeling Ronaldinho had two.
Yeah, I think it's two.
Possibly.
Actually, is it
Yeah,
two?
Ronaldinho had two. Yeah. I'm just trying to think of going stuff like that.
Yeah.
Obviously, Pele and Maradona, you can't really
Yeah,
use the Champions League sort of thing, and it's kind of different eras, different arguments.
yeah,
And CR7 enough said so, but um, I just think that when you win the biggest stage, and also when you come up, because it'd be a different story even if he disappeared in this final and done nothing. But the fact that he scored the penalty, the fact that he scored the third goal and was there when his team needed him, like you can't like he did what he had to do. You can't hate
he
that.
also he also scored the shootout as well.
Yeah, exactly. So you know he did what he needed to do. I mean, and I said the only thing that I can say is just that like I do feel for Mbappe because for him to literally carry France to that penalty shootout at 23 by himself. I finally now understand. Like it's almost like because obviously have hope, pay change and stuff like that. It's like I almost
Yeah,
it's like I finally understand what he was raving on about. Like just on that performance alone, I was like, okay, I understand what HH is saying now because to do that, with no with obviously likes of no Benzema and Pogba and Kante, which I think were a big miss in this whole
no
World Cup.
Giroud.
No Giroud, Griezmann came off. Dembele, who was the brick, all that, to be like, I am carrying this and doing this. Yes, 2 of the goals are penalties, but that second finish, that second goal, that finish was, oh my goodness, that was superb. So it was like weird in a way for me, because it was like, it's almost like a handing over the baton, where you're like, Mbappe has maybe 3, possibly 4 World Cups left, and obviously Champions League career. And it's almost like, you know, it wouldn't surprise me if, like, in 4 years' time or 6 years' time, that we're having another conversation. If that makes any sense, because if he plays like that in Champions Leagues and World Cups for that period when he did it, then yeah, it's going to be big. I was taken aback by that as well, you know.
Yeah, definitely. And I think for Kylian Mbappe, it's incredible because, like you said, like it was almost kind of like roles reverse, like, you know, because, like, you know, we know that Messi's been carrying Argentina for this tournament in particular. Because the thing is with Mbappe, like he wasn't really that significant in the quarterfinals, the semifinals, to be fair.
No.
So he really came up with a triumph in this kind of game, and I actually do feel bad for him. I also don't really feel that bad because, you know, he's already won a World Cup, so it's not as bad, but it's still gonna be hard. It's gonna still pain you,
of course,
because,
and it's also because sometimes it's the manner. Because the manner of which you go, so that's why. Because a lot of people saying, "But he's already won a World Cup." Like, it's not. I get that, but it's the manner of which you, because it's the manner of which you win and lose.
Yeah,
because like in that World Cup last time, like they beat Croatia 4-1. So it was like yeah,
I think it was 4-2.
4-2, I think it was. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But the manner in which you lost this one, where like you were 2-0 down, you came back, you carried your team through, you took it to 2 hours, you scored your penalty. Like, as someone once said, it was like, when can you ever say that someone drops a hat trick in a World Cup final and doesn't win the World Cup?
Yeah, it's very rare. This might be the first time in history. I actually don't know. I might be wrong here saying that.
Because the last one was, ironically enough, like the only one to do it was, I think, Sir George Hurst for England against Germany in 1966. So he's the one that's I think he's the so Jeff Hurst is the only one that scored a hat trick in the final, and obviously England went to win the World Cup in '66, obviously. But I'm still like, that's why I had to get people on, because I've been talking for an hour plus, and I'm still just trying to process what's happened. Because one of the things that I also said was that it's clear to me how much passion and emotion so many players put into this tournament across the world. And I will find it interesting to see how club football is affected, because literally next week, like 3 days, United are playing against Burnley. A week or so now, PSG are going to be playing. So do you think that, because unlike previous World Cups in the summer, where like the season's over, you have the World Cup, you forget about it, and then you now focus on the next season, do you think that this very emotional, taxing World Cup is going to have an effect on, like, you know, club football, like, going forward?
Oh yeah, of course. I do think so. Especially a lot of the players, especially the players that came in today's fire, they'll probably take some time to get, you know, re-energized, and they probably will miss some of the club games because, you know, this is a World Cup final, especially the Argentinian players, because I'm sure they'll be taking some holiday breaks. Like, you know, I don't think they care. Most of them, I don't even think really cares about club football right now. They could care less. I mean, they won the World Cup, so
no, exactly. See, that's why it's like, you know, if you're, I mean, the Champions League doesn't restart till February, so that's fine. But I guess I'm thinking more of, like, say, for example, like your Arsenal Football Club, for example, and like you're in a title race right now with like Manchester City, and you potentially have a shot at doing something. I don't think Arsenal have any Argentinian or French players as far in that play today. Did they have anybody?
I don't think so.
Saliba, but he didn't play.
Oh yeah, Saliba. Yeah.
He was.
I don't think
he didn't come on. I think Season took it, and I think. Did they have any on Argentina?
No, I don't think so.
No, I can't think. Yeah, there's no one that comes to. There's no one that comes to mind aside from, I think, Saliba, who plays some, who was still some time. But that's it. So, but yeah, those are the types of teams that I'm kind of thinking about the teams that are are like in top flight campaigns and stuff like that, and it will be interesting to see like when teams like Arsenal, Bayern, or whoever, where there's momentum there, and how they would like affect things, you know. But as you rightly said, a lot of these players aren't going to care because either they're tired, i.e. the French, and others in recovery. Like, I don't care, I'm tired, or you're just busy celebrating. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude. You know, I realized how is PSG gonna? This is gonna. I think PSG is gonna get most effective.
That's what I was saying. I mean, shout out to Suleiman. Big up, bro. Shout out to Suleiman. Hope you're doing well, buddy. I was like, and this is what I'm saying, where like that's because of the way that the World Cup was done in the winter. Like, if it was in the summer, you could just forget about it for a few weeks and then just rethink. How does Messi go back to PSG and you've got MBAPPE who's like, I don't like you, and you've got Neymar who's like, I want that World Cup. I wish I was you. Because let's keep a stat. If there's the biggest fraud of the tournament, I still think is Neymar. Whatever you say, at least with Ronaldo, Ronaldo's at least won an international trophy with his country. At least he's done something like that. Neymar, you know, you were injured in Copa and they won the Copa without you. Here's your chance to do something. And okay, yes, you scored a really good goal against Croatia, but to keep the stack, you didn't really play that well for most of the game. And you didn't even take a penalty. You didn't even take the first penalty in the penalty shootout. You didn't, you know, so.
Well, Neymar's always the one that does last penalty. He's always the type of guy that does that last.
I know. I don't like that though. I don't personally. For me, either the captain takes it first, so like BVD, for example, for Netherlands, like to kind of lead by example. If you miss, it's fine, but you've at least taken that, you know. Or you know,
your best penalty taker,
your best player, your best penalty taker, etc. You don't. Because it's almost arrogance. It's like you're saying, "Oh, it's going to get to that stage." What happens if it doesn't get to that stage?
Yeah, and you're right, man. Because like the idea is that you're going to get all the glory. That's pretty much the idea. Is that you take the last penalty.
Exactly. It's not about it's not about glory. It's about it should be about responsibility. You know, I just don't. I don't like that, and I think that, you know, at least all the greats, as it were, can say that they've at least achieved in some sort of degree of international success for their country. Neymar, okay, do you include the Olympics? I don't know. Maybe you can include the Olympics. I don't know, but
I mean, here's my thing. You can include it, but it's not like a major thing. Like, I'm not going to count as a major trophy. I'll include it, but it's not major. And the same goes with Confederations Cup. I think he won it, so that's not even in existence. It doesn't exist anymore.
No. He's still got time because Neymar is what, 30 or 31 now?
I think it's 30.
Yeah, so he's still got 4 years. He can still come and do it, no doubt about that. In America, and I think that Brazil were a bit unfortunate this World Cup, regardless. You know, so there's still opportunity for him to do it, but and also there's Coppers as well. You know, so but if Neymar hasn't been involved in winning it, then like you got to say that's one of the biggest disappointments, I would say, in career football, because it's like, because ultimately what you're telling me as for major achievements is you've won one Champions League.
That's pretty much it.
That's it. I'm not counting Uber Eats titles. I'm not counting Uber Eats titles.
What about like the Champions League he came runners up in? That with PSG, 2020.
No. I can't give Neymar that. I can't give Neymar that when Luka Modric is still doing what he's doing at 37.
Yeah, he has to win this next Copa America, 2024. Because I think the Copa America is being done for every 4 years now. So I don't think if he doesn't win 2024, I think it's done. I think it's be his last Copa.
I don't know. You're right. Because on the one hand we're saying Messi's the GOAT, but on the other hand, like, for someone as talented as Neymar, and I know it's not entirely his fault per se, but the only reason why I would chastise him is that it's like Brazil won a cup without you, though.
Yeah, and this is my opinion. You might disagree with me. I think Brazil have a better squad than Argentina, like in terms of players.
They do. I think, if I'm honest, I could keep on saying it should have been Brazil Argentina in the final, and the players let themselves down there because they decided, oh, the game is over, it's won, that's it.
Do you blame Tite, the coach?
I think he got some of his tactics wrong. But I also think that, I don't know, you can see with the way that Argentina play. Argentina, the players were a lot more what's the word? Street smart. Streetwise with how they did things. And I don't think Brazil were. I think they were about flair and passion, stuff like that, but they didn't have that grit about them that I think that Argentina had.
I think it's a big difference.
So
like Argentina just have that. Sorry for interrupting you.
No, go on.
Yeah, I think Argentina have that mentality, whereas I don't think Brazil have. I think that's a big difference between the two nations.
But that's why it doesn't make sense, because when you look at the players and you're like, why don't they have the mentality? You've got Casemiro, you've got Neymar, you've got Thiago Silva, you've got Marquinhos, you've got Thiago Silva. Even Dani Alves was there. Like Alisson, they're winners, Champions League winners. High from that have that. So I just don't understand why they and to be honest, you can make an argument that if Brazil played Argentina in the final, I don't know how that would have gone. I don't know how that would have gone, because it would have been different. Shout out to me who says Messi, but I don't know how that would have gone. But the only positive that I can say, and I think I said this earlier, for Brazil is that they're much like France, their future is bright. Going into the World Cup. And I do think that, in my opinion, Argentina need to close this Messi chapter, and focus on like rebuilding. If we're talking about the next World Cup, like rebuilding, as it were, I think it'd be a very, very big mistake to go into 2016 trying to depend on a 39-year-old Messi and building your team around that. Because all the teams, France, Brazil, all the young players we're talking about are going to be stronger and better, and you're not going to be able to rely on that Messi brilliance, I don't think, anymore anyway. So this was Argentina, for me, their best chance to win the World Cup. They won it. They'll have to rebuild, in my opinion, 4 years' time if they want to compete and defend it again.
Yeah, of course. I'm keen to see how Argentina does the next Copa America, because obviously I don't expect Messi to play in that Copa America, and it's going to be held here in the USA, I believe, which is likely to be true. Yeah.
Oh,
so
really?
2024. Well, it's not official yet, but it's looking likely. Let's put it this way. So,
are there any international tournaments next year then? 2023.
Well, there is the Women's World Cup, I believe. So,
Okay.
I don't think there's any others to my mind.
I'm only going to be interested, like, no disrespect, Women's World Cup, if I see England or Japan destroy USA. No disrespect. Respect at 74. Like, I want to see that. I need to see the USA women's teams humble, because
sorry, my bad. There's the Asian Cup next year. I think it's the Asian Cup.
Asian Cup next year. Okay, when is the AFCON? Is AFCON 2024 as well? Surely not.
Well, it was going to be 2023, but I heard they postponed.
So wait, so you're going to have the AFCON, the Euros, and the Copa America all in 1 year?
Yeah, that's what it's looking like to be.
That's insane.
Remember 2019, we had like Copa America, Euros, and I think we had the Women's World Cup all in the same summer.
Yes, yeah. That is just like, geez, that's funny. That's too much football. Because they'll do the AFCON in presumably they have to do it AFCON in January. They'll do the AFCON in January, then they'll do the Copa America. Will they do the Copa America? Wait, did they not play the Copa America and the Euros together last time?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, they did. Yeah,
they did, didn't they? Yeah, they had them together at the same time as well. Yeah, so I guess they'll have it done again. Yeah, because I was covering both at the same time and stuff, but it's just the Euros were
Yeah.
earlier. So and there were a lot. It was a lot more. I think the year was a lot more dramatic because of what was going on uh, there and that.
Yeah.
And obviously, England doing their thing. So. But Enoch says hello, mate. Yeah, hope you're doing well. But yeah, just we have questions with this. Do you think that Messi doing this has surpassed Diego Maradona, or do you think that you can't really compare the two players? It was just two different eras, or do you think that this has put him above Maradona?
It's difficult to say because don't worry, I think Messi had a fantastic World Cup. Obviously,
Hmm.
it was amazing, obviously. But I think in terms of what Maradona did, I think Maradona probably had a better individual campaign. Not in terms of scoring goals, but the goals itself
Yeah,
were really quality. In
yeah,
1986, like I'm not trying to disrespect Messi here. He's
yeah.
a
Of course,
fantastic player, of course.
yeah,
But it's just that Maradona for me, what he did in 1986, I thought was incredible. Like the hand of God and
yeah,
that dribble against England was fantastic.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
I don't think Messi has really done anything close to that in this World Cup. Maybe you could maybe say in this final, maybe against France, a rebound, but it's not really
I
comparable in
see.
my opinion.
Yeah. And like I said, I'm not trying to diss or something like that, but I do think that I know people don't want to hear it, but I think Emmy Martinez made the difference. I really, really do. Like since the Copper, with him coming in, and obviously, you gotta thank Morpie because if Morpie hadn't injured, if you remember, if Morpie hadn't injured Leno in that Arsenal
Yeah,
Brighton game, Emmy Martinez wouldn't have come on as the second choice keeper. And obviously, he went on to what did he do? He helped Arsenal win the FA Cup against City and Chelsea by putting two back-to-back amazing performances. And
yeah,
obviously, he then got his move to Villa, which he deserved. Um, so I'd like him at United. Actually, he's a great shot stopper. Like, if I know with Emmy, at least I'm like, if we ever go to penalties, I can trust that Emmy Martinez has me covered. So I need a keeper who I can bring on, who I don't have to worry about. Like, and as I put the tweet out before, I was like, before this game, before the Netherlands game, I was like, if this game goes to penalties, Argentina will win because of this guy. And I just think that confidence that keeper gives you, as well as to the back line, not only in a penalty shootout, but also you saw that fantastic save that he did towards the end to deny Thuram, I think it was.
yeah, yeah.
Um, I just think that if it was any other keeper, as much as I think Romero was good. I love Romero. He's a good keeper, my guy. But I just think that if it was any other keeper,
It would have probably been Armani.
Armani, okay.
Yeah, yeah, and
I
that
don't, I just,
easy
I
as
don't,
average.
yeah, I just don't think. I mean, we saw it with like Simon with Spain. I was like, the Simon guy is a brick. Like he's not bad and he plays tiki taka, but he's not like Emmy Martinez. And
Yeah,
I think that if I know people are going to give Messi the accolades as they should because of his career, but
obviously.
at the same time, I'm like, Messi was in multiple Copa America finals, lost them, and obviously the World Cup in 2014. What was the difference maker in this subsequent Copa America and this World Cup? It was the fact that you had a keeper who could win multiple penalty shootouts. Because I think in the Copa, there was one penalty shootout against Colombia, if I remember. I think it was against Colombia.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And obviously the two against France and Netherlands, and he's won them all.
Yeah.
Literally only keeper maybe that I could think could maybe challenge him in a penalty shootout, maybe Donnarumma for Italy. That's probably the only keeper that maybe might be able to do it. So
What about Livakovic?
Possibly. But I just think it's the combination of Emmy Martinez's mind games. I think he's very good at that. I'll bet it's it's a bit dirty shade tactics, but at the end of the day, like he makes the penalty when his own. I just think that I genuinely believe that if he wasn't their keeper, I just don't think Argentina. I don't think he wins it. I don't think Argentina get this far. So he should. I'm not saying he should get the same level as like praise Messi, but he shouldn't be forgotten about it either. Because if he's injured, if he doesn't play, or etc., or moving forward, I think Argentina will struggle because, I mean, defensively, you saw that they 2 times they bottled 2-0 leads.
Yeah. And you remember against Australia, they were also like defensively, they're not there.
They were not.
They weren't that
They're
good.
not there, So and to be honest, had freaking Dembele and and Griezmann Drew been actually playing a good game, like you never know what would have happened. The brace to Weghorst, etc. I even think that, like, whatever you say about England, that even England would have given this Argentinian defense problems with the pace and counter and stuff like that. They certainly would have had a better midfield performance than France did, because France's midfield was garbage for most of this game. They just let them bypass them completely, But no, at the end of the day, man, just
Yeah,
he's completed football. At the end of the day, he's completed football, and I just don't see what else he has to do, really. What else he should be doing,
What about Rodrigo de Paul? I think he's also been a really good player for Argentina. He's done really well.
I didn't like his first 2 group games because I thought it was a brick in the first 2 group games, especially against Saudi Arabia. But the third game was that
Poland? I think it was Poland.
Yeah, Poland. I think that's when, for me, he started to come clutch. I was still not convinced because I was like, okay, yeah, we've had 2 bad games, but ever since that Poland game, like he went from strength to strength. So him, McAllister, even Di Maria
good too.
He was. He's plays at Brighton. He's after this performance, you'd think that the guy might move. I don't know what you think. Do you think he'll move from Brighton? What will Brighton have to say about that?
Possibly. I mean, it's crazy. And Brighton has a World Cup winner on their team. That's crazy to say.
Exactly. They don't want to say that. Like, Brighton has a World Cup winner. Like, Brighton Football Club has a World Cup winner on their team. Like, I mean, really? So it's so do Manchester United, obviously, with like Lisandro Martinez now,
and Varane.
And Varane, so we've got quite a few, so do Chelsea have any? Kante. That's it, isn't it? And he's injured, so he's not really there anymore and he's leaving. So aside from that, I don't think they have anybody else, do they? Yeah. I'll use that as leverage for HH next season, so in terms of big clubs and stuff like that. So yeah, no, I think that there'll be a few players. Di Maria, obviously, doing what he does again. I think he was clutch in that Copa America final. He was clutch, and to be honest, and as I was saying earlier, I was like, how much of this? Well, maybe I'll ask you this answer. How much of this is really on Scaloni? Is this win really on Scaloni, or do you think this is on the team and Messi and individual kind of brilliance?
Because I think you have to give it.
Go on. Yeah,
I think you have to give everyone. I think everyone deserves appreciation. I think Scaloni did, because keep in mind, before Scaloni came, they had Sampaoli. We know how bad Argentina were that time.
Yeah. Okay. I agree.
Yeah. And remember, in the 2019 Copa America, when Scaloni came in, they were terrible. Like, I remember against Colombia, the first couple of games, like, they were so bad. Remember against Paraguay, like, they were so bad. Like, they had to. Yeah. Actually, I just realized, if Messi didn't score that penalty, I think against Paraguay, they could have maybe gone on the group stage. It could have been a whole. It could have been a whole different thing.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
It's taken some time, but it's actually working, which is a crazy thing.
Yes, yeah. I mean, I'm still not a fan of his kind of like not killing off the game kind of tactics type of thing, and potentially that Di Maria substitution could have cost them. Because as soon as Di Maria left, it was like, are you sure this is a good idea? Remember, this happened before against the Netherlands, So, and they brought on, Weghorst, the Burnley guy, and they scored, So, like, surely this can't happen again. And then Mbappe scores a penalty, and you're like, oh no, like, are you gonna? And then Mbappe scores a goal. It's like, oh, come on, guys, you're now leaving it to penalties again to be able to sort out the to bring you back into the game. So, but yeah, no, you're right. you're right. They were. Sampaoli was awful, awful. And I think that Scaloni, he's delivered Argentina and South America their first one in 2 decades.
Oh yeah.
You know,
One thing I want to mention.
go on, yeah.
He's also the youngest manager at this World Cup. That's, I think, very impressive.
That is true. That is true. Okay, that puts it into perspective, I guess, because as much as if me criticizing him, he's still a young manager, and so by being a young manager and still delivering, that's fair enough. So okay, I'll give him props for that in that respect because it's difficult, I think. SMB says RDS. There's a debate about Mbappe versus still 24 years old. Who is better?
That's a good debate thing to have.
It's difficult because I'm trying to think. What did at 24 years old? What had Ronaldo achieved? I'm trying to remember because 24. So when was that? If you go back to, he's 37 now. So that would be 10, 1, 2, 3, 13 years ago. So 22, that's 2012. And then 1, 2, 3. So that's 2009, 2008 period. That's a difficult debate because that was one of his. That's what put Ronaldo on the map. That's when I think he scored 40 goals in the Premier League that season, and obviously won the Champions League with Manchester United.
I think the big difference though is that the World Cup for Mbappe, that's huge. You know, I think that's a big difference.
That's what I'm saying. I think that it's. I know it's still difficult though because I feel like yes, Mbappe won that World Cup at that age, but for me, this game was his best has been his best international performance.
Oh yeah, because the thing of the 2018 is that it's not, people think that Mbappe carried France. No, it wasn't just him.
No, it wasn't. You know, Giroud did his thing. Griezmann's thing. For me, to be honest, Pogba and Kante are the ones that did their thing, and there is an argument that what would have happened in this World Cup if Pogba and Kante had been in that midfield.
Yeah, even Lloris was good in that World Cup too.
Exactly.
I know the final he made a mistake, but putting that aside, he was pretty good in the World Cup. He was also pretty good today as well, in my opinion.
He was. Lloris made some fantastic saves. He was definitely very, very good.
Except for the shootout, he was bad in the shootout, in my opinion.
Yeah, he's not a penalty stopper though. That's the thing. I knew. This is what I predicted every single penalty, every penalty shooter that's happened. I predict everyone to be correct, just based purely on the experience of the team and the keeper. So I knew Croatia were going to beat Japan in the penalty shootouts. I knew Argentina were going to beat Netherlands and France just now, and I knew that Morocco were going to beat Spain because I just think Simon was just a brick. I just didn't think that he's a good shot stopper. You need to be a good shot stopper to save penalties. And I think Bruno was a better keeper, in my personal opinion. But yeah, that's certainly a discussion that we might have on this channel. Who was better? Maybe a debate even. Eldon Transfer shouts, man. Messi is the GOAT. Big up, artist. Thank you, man. Appreciate you, buddy. Big up, AD, man. Yes. I see ad 74. Call you AD instead. Do you prefer AD or ad 744?
Yeah, well, you could call me AD if you want. You could go either way. That's preferable. I prefer probably AD though, just because more people call me that.
Yes, I will go with AD then. I'll go with AD. Banda says Messi fans from Sri Lanka. Yeah, man. Messi. It's been great seeing Messi fans all the world celebrating Messi, man, this victory, man. Because I don't think whatever I say about him, I don't think it can go to any other footballer. And I think he realized that he had to. If there's one thing I saw from Messi in his tournament, was grit. He realized that he was going to win this World Cup. It had to be gritty. He couldn't disappear. He couldn't not fight. He had to fight. He had to be gritty. He had to go forward. And I saw that with this. And yeah, it just completes the dream, And if you're CR7 right now, you're thinking, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? I can't do anything, it's over. And to be honest, just be Like, if you're Ronaldo, I would just be like, just be humble, man. Like, just be like, listen. Like if he posted like a oh, okay, this is a good actually. Yeah, get the guys for those who are watching, and make sure you like the video and subscribe, and also make sure you subscribe to AD's channel as well. AD's channel, please go and subscribe to his channel, man. AD, post a link in the private chat, and I'll put it in the chat so I can pin it so people can go and follow you.
All right, let me get the link.
What's this? I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
But yeah, here's a question. Oh, sorry, go on. Yep.
Yeah, on this Messi thing, the Argentina fans are insane. Like, there is a huge support for them because, like, one of my friends, like, he lives in Argentina. He's actually Argentinian. He's not just because you know how there's a lot of people that are support Argentina for Messi. Like, he's actually Argentinian. Like, he's there. He showed me the scenes over there, and it's crazy. They're like celebrating like crazy over there. Yeah, it's like crazy. Like, it's like the Argentine fans are so passionate, man. Like, it's one of the most passionate fans I've seen in the world.
I mean, look at the fact the stadium. I mean, I saw like it was like there were no French people there.
Yeah,
like, you know, like it was literally just like the whole stadium was packed full of Argentinian fans, and that makes a huge difference, man. Like Argentina and all the South American sides have had a huge support this World Cup. The European fans were non-existent, with the exception of to be honest, the England fans actually came out. To be fair, the England fans actually came out. To be fair, you know. So, but a lot of
you're right. Most of the Europeans wanted. Moroccan fans were big, man. Moroccan fans.
Yeah, they were definitely. 100. Oh, wow, 132 votes. Actually, I'll just post. I'm just going to post. So if you can subscribe to AD's channel, I've just posted in the chat. Please subscribe.
Yeah, I think it already is.
No, always want to promote other cheap people's channels, man. Especially when we've got quite a few people watching, man. It's always important.
Help each other.
But yeah, very close. So should Messi retire now after 133 votes? 56% say yes, and then 44% no. So that's very interesting. So a bit of an even split. A lot of you guys still think that Messi can keep on going, so which is fair enough.
What do you mean by do you mean by retire means like entirely everything, like club and international?
Okay, I mean retire as in like completely. I mean, like, I guess, you know, I'd still class retirement as going to the MLS. Like if he goes to MLS or Saudi or any other thing, like basically leaving European and international football.
Yeah.
Like if he goes to South America and for me that's still retirement in my mind, but obviously still playing football.
Neil Old Boys, he might go back there because, you know, that's his boyhood club, I think.
Yeah, exactly. So for me that would be I'd be like, yeah, he's retired now, essentially, you know, because he's not going to be anything major. But Raymond has a very good question, and it says, biggest disappointment of this World Cup question for you guys. Yeah, get those questions in, guys. Get those questions, because we will be probably doing a World Cup Q&A. I'm going to quickly just get a drink. So first, but AD, can you answer that first? And I'll be right back.
All right. There's a lot of good shouts, man. There's like a lot of teams that disappointed. For me personally, I think for the group stage, I think the biggest one, it's difficult because there's Belgium, Denmark, you have Mexico to consider, Germany. It's a difficult one. And then even the knockout stage, like Spain, Portugal, even England. Well, actually, I don't think England's really. I think England's a bit harsh to put in there. For me, for the group stage, and the Serbia as well, for group stage, it might honestly have to be Denmark. I'm going to put Denmark for me personally, just because of the fact that they had so much hype coming into this tournament, and there was a lot of underdogs, a lot of people predicted them to do well. Even I predicted them they would do so well, and we saw what they did in the Euros. Like, they were able to compete with some of the best European nations, like, you know, England, Belgium, etc. And we even saw what they did in the Nations League. Like, I mean, they beat France home and away. Like, I really thought Denmark would do so much better, and they even had Christian Eriksen, which they didn't even have in the Euros. So I really thought Denmark, and they have a really good squad. Like, Denmark's squad is pretty good. It's not like like they have really good players like Christensen, Kasper Schmeichel. You know, you still have Eriksen as well, and then you have Melee. Like, there's a lot of quality players in this Denmark team, and they just didn't perform well in this World Cup. And the fact, okay, I can understand they didn't top the group. Okay, it's France. You know, it's a difficult task, but you can at least come second, because with all due respect, Tunisia, Australia, they were not that. They're not very well recognized. Like they're not
Well,
a very good
they
European
finished
nation.
bottom, didn't they?
Yeah,
Denmark
finished bottom.
bottom.
Yeah, so for me, I'm putting them as the biggest disappointment for me personally.
I'll just give to the Flying Dutchman. Visa Stanko Argentina. I'm assuming. I'm sorry, I don't speak Spanish, but I'm assuming that's basically like congratulations Argentina, salutations from Holland. Am I correct?
Yeah, I don't speak. I did Spanish like a few years ago in school,
Yeah.
but I haven't done some time now, so I kind of forgot. But yeah, he's probably right. You're probably right.
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree with you. Because I think that you know, I was gonna say Belgium, but then in retrospect, I'm like, but Morocco and Croatia did both get to the semis. So yes, Belgium were bad, but in fairness, the two teams that qualified above them both went to the semi-final. So
and also there were some people that I saw that said Belgium might go on the group stage. So it wasn't as like unexpected, you know.
Yeah, exactly. And I think after what De Bruyne did, you know, you're kind of like, you know, it's old and yeah. So
I just think the FIFA rankings is like the reason why we're like the FIFA rankings make them so look so good.
Yeah, it's the FIFA rankings. I actually think that they should get rid of them. I just don't really see they make no difference. They take into account friendlies. What it should do is it should take into account previous tournament experience, and that's it. If you're going to do that, or you seed the groups based on like, because I think there were like 8 groups. So like groups. Right, six of those go to the winners of their respective confederates cups. Then you have one for like the host nation, and then one for the current winners. And then everyone gets seeded based on that. That's how I would do it. So you'd have Africa, the CONCACAF winner, you know, so the CONMEBOL winner, the CAF winner, Oceania winner, UEFA winner, Oceania winner, whatever, and then have the host country, and then have the current holders. Those are your 8 groups.
The problem with that, sometimes not all regional winners qualify. You know, Italy didn't qualify for this one, as you know.
Yeah, so, no, exactly. But it's more like I feel like that's at least more fair to, because you've at least accomplished something.
Yeah.
Then basing on FIFA rankings, where what exactly did Belgium do to be second?
Yeah,
like, what did they do? Like they in the Euros, they didn't do anything. In the World Cup, they didn't do anything. So what is it that they did to have that second ranking to therefore be seeded in that group?
The problem is that Belgium hardly lose games. That's the thing. It's like Belgium very rarely loses games, and they're, because let's be real, the qualifying group is so easy. Like they can qualify to this thing with ease. Like there are qualifiers, the World Cup qualifiers. It's not that hard. But when it comes to actual tournaments, they actually get tested, and we see what they are doing in the World Cup. You know. So RDS.
I was just quickly. Shouts Ice Baby, and Flying Dutchman says perfect translation. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Flying Dutchman, man. I appreciate it, man. Like it's not my first language, but I definitely share the sentiments, you know. So and I agree. You know, congratulations to Argentina and just the entire Latin American world. This must be it's a brilliant achievement, and it's good to see the World Cup back in South America. I'm not gonna lie, I loved it if Morocco had won it as an African as well, but South American is at least a good second choice, you know, than Europe dominating all the time. Was there anyone else that you thought? Okay, we said going back to Raymond Moore's question, we said obviously Denmark were probably this one. I agree with that. Was there anyone else you thought? Let's say top 3 teams. Top 3 teams. So Denmark is one. What were the other 2?
It's a difficult one. Would you say Mexico? Because I still think it was a manageable group for Mexico. It wasn't that difficult.
I don't know, because I think that the big thing with Mexico for me is that and one of the things that I've noticed in this tournament is that like The teams that struggled are the teams that didn't have anyone clinical.
Yeah, that's true.
Like this was a strikers tournament. You needed forward strikers to put the ball away. Like this wasn't a kind of like a be defensive, etc., etc. Yeah, that could take you so far, but you needed finishers, and that's ultimately what cost Croatia and Morocco at the end of the day as well. And I think with Mexico, you know, you're relying on Raul Jimenez, who's been injured now for so long. Nah, that's not going to work, bro. You know, at least Poland, whatever you say, you know, they still have Lewandowski.
Yeah, that's true.
Still Lewandowski to do things. Their team was brickish, but they have Lewandowski and they have Szczesny. Szczesny, who's also a very good penalty stopper, shot stopper, and you know, so you know, Mexico really only had a Ochoa in that respect. They never really had someone who was clear, because I don't think they scored. Did they score any goals?
Yeah, they scored 2 goals, just 2 goals.
Just 2
in the
goals.
Last game in the last game against Saudi Arabia.
In Saudi Arabia, exactly. Yeah, you know. To be honest, I would say Qatar.
Oh, Qatar, that's a good shout. That's a good shout.
As the host nation, I mean, come on, guys. You know, they should. You know, I mean, even Saudi. Well, I say even Saudi Arabia actually have football heritage. So like, and they actually played really good. Like, I can't actually, even though they didn't qualify, Saudi Arabia actually played well in that group when everyone thought they would finish bottom. Qatar just didn't play well at all. And
yeah, you know the crazy thing with Qatar is that they're the highest ranked Asian nation, and yet they perform like the worst Asian nation in this World Cup.
Exactly. That's why I didn't understand. I was like, they were the Asian Cup winners. They all the leagues, all the players played together for so long. They stopped the league to give them months to kind of like prepare together. And to be fair, the group wasn't that bad. You know, Senegal, Ecuador, Netherlands, you know, but they just.
Yeah, even South Africa did better. Like, I know they didn't qualify, but they did better in the group.
Yeah, they at least beat France. Because I think that was the big thing. They beat France. Of course, France imploded during that time in 2010, you know, hashtag Evra, you know. But you're right. They got something to get their nation to celebrate about. But, you know, Qatar just. You know, they I don't think they shut up at all. Can you think of a third? And then maybe we'll go to maybe the next question would be biggest disappointment of a player and top 3. But yeah, can you think of
what was Spain?
Spain. That's an interesting shout, I think. The thing is, I wouldn't have said that because I actually thought that Spain wouldn't qualify from that group. Yeah. Because my concern for Spain was always that I don't know how clinical they are, and this whole possession, hold on to the ball thing that they do, I just don't know whether that works in 2022 in tournament football. It didn't work in the Euros. Well, I'm not saying it didn't work in the Euros, but I think it cost the Euros. Yeah. And it was, and I think in the previous World Cup, you know, people forget they lost to Russia on penalties.
Yeah,
you know, so I was always kind of like, Japan could really do something. And I think my biggest thing was I thought Germany would. I guess you could say Germany.
Oh yeah, Germany's another show. I kind of say Spain more just because of the fact that look what they did. Like people were hyping them against Costa Rica, then look what they did in the next 2 games. Like yeah. So like that's kind of like the reason why, and it's like
they peaked too early.
Like how do you score 7 one game and you can only score like 2 goals in the next 3 games? Like really?
Yeah, I think that. I think it says more about Costa Rica than it said about Spain, to be honest. And I said that after the game. I was like, people need to not get gassed quickly. You know,
Costa Rica did good in this group. Like they were I know they finished bottom, but like this is a tough nation, CONCACAF. Like they're a very difficult nation. Like they don't concede that many goals. And this is a crazy stat you might not know. They got a result against Canada, Mexico, and the USA. All 3 nations are qualifiers.
Yes. And you know, and at the end of the day, like at the end of this group, I didn't expect Costa Rica to, because at the end, this was a tough group. This is a tough
Yeah.
group, so I can't say Costa Rica disappointed because they had Spain, Germany, and Japan. Japan, who went toe to toe with Belgium in the last World Cup and have improved obviously since then, and obviously they did what they had to do against Spain in the previous World Cup. They were just unlucky to lose to Croatia, and that was on penalties. Flying Dutchman,
Yeah.
Qatar's a joke. Yeah, Morocco represented Arab nations, man.
Yeah.
But I do agree with you about Spain. I think that I don't know what the future for the Spanish national team is.
Oh, I have another good shout. Serbia.
Yeah. They. I mean, to because we're going to talk about like the teams that I think overperformed, and like I think one of the teams that overperformed, even though they didn't qualify, was Cameroon.
Yeah, Cameroon.
Because it's like how you were. I think because Serbia were leading 2-0. I think they were leading 2-0 at one. Was it 2-0 or 2-1?
I think it was 2-1. 2-1.
It was 2-1.
I think Swiss scored. I think Swiss scored first.
No. I mean against Cameroon. I think.
Sorry.
Yeah, I think.
Oh,
Cameroon,
yeah.
They were 2-0 up, and it's like, how did you go from 2-0 up to draw Cameroon 3-3? Shout out Abu Bakr, by the way.
I think it was 3-1. It was 3-1 actually. I think it was 3-1.
Wait, was it? It was
3-1.
Oh my
goodness.
Yeah. So, you're right. I thought that, and the whole, we're better than Switzerland, Albania, politics, blah, blah, blah. At the end of the day, guys, you lost. And you finished bottom of the group. And
you know what's crazy? They scored the most goals in the group. That's crazy.
Serbia.
Yeah, they scored the most goals in that group. I'm not even joking.
Oh yeah, because Brazil didn't. Yeah, because they didn't score any against Cameroon, did they? Yes, you're right. You're right. Because obviously Brazil lost to Cameroon in that final game. So you're right. But the thing with them was that the defense was terrible.
Yeah, the
defense was so bad. So
you know what's also crazy? You know what's also crazy with Serbia? They managed to qualify for like a lot of World Cups, like 2018, 2020, 2006.
Yeah,
but they haven't qualified to a Euro since 2000. Like, how do you explain that?
Yeah. I don't understand. I mean, did they play in the last Euros? They did, didn't they?
Serbia didn't. They didn't qualify.
How do you not qualify for a Euros that has what? Wasn't it like 40 people? 32 or how many? Like, you have half of Europe in the Euros, man.
24 teams.
24 teams. Yeah, it's essentially half of Europe because Europe has like 50 countries. How do you not qualify for them? I don't understand. So
it's ridiculous.
I think honorable mentions. I'm trying to think any honorable mentions for teams that didn't really do well. In fact, let me get the groups. Let me just get the groups up.
Yeah.
1 second.
Yeah. Do you agree with Serbia, by the way?
Yeah, I agree. I think Qatar. What did we say? We said Qatar, Denmark,
Serbia,
and Serbia. I think.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
And I think honorable mentions to. I think that honorable mentions go to Spain. Definitely.
Spain.
I'm just going to see if I'm just not sure I've not missed anyone out. Let's have a look. Tables. Okay, I'll just share all this. So I'll just stop screen for a second. I know there must be a StreamYard way to go between thingies, but I'm not sure what it is yet. Right. Okay. Let's go. Okay, yeah. So as we said, Qatar. Wales. They disappointed. They did, but
I think it's a bit harsh.
I think it's a bit harsh for Wales, So I think
this is our first World Cup in a long time. So
exactly. The very fact that they got to the World Cup, I think was So I don't think you can really.
Wales. What? Can you go back to that group real quick? I'm more disappointed in Iran personally than Wales because Iran had so much. Yeah, I think Iran disappointed more, even though they finished third. Like they had a really good coach, Carlos Queiroz. And let's be real, USA, as good as we were, our coach is a brick. And Peralta's a bad coach, so there was really no excuses for Iran.
Let me quickly. SMV said, "Hey guy, it's also on your guys' Twitter handles and bio. Do you guys add other links for social media like your YouTube, Instagram? Twitter's about to ban this. Really? That's interesting.
Wow.
Wait, so you mean in the bio? Because in my bio I put a link to my YouTube channel, but Twitter's about to ban.
Why would they do that? That doesn't make sense.
Man, Elon is a fraud, man. Elon is a fraud. I don't know. Elon's a fraud. He's a fraud. He is. So, but yeah, I think you're right. And I think that the only thing I'll say about Carlos Queiroz is that I think that he got too emotional.
Yeah.
Against USA, like in the game before the USA, like it was clear that like the USA, whatever were getting into his head. And I was like, I expected you to at least shut out all of that stuff. Don't go on Twitter saying apologize USA and all the Iran politics and stuff like that, because I think that had an effect.
Yeah.
You know, Iran politics and everything like that, and you know, and how the Iran players support in the division. So I think all those factors, his job as a coach should have been to shield the players from that, to get them to play football. I don't think he did that right.
And the thing is, like against the USA, they were so defensive. Like they were literally like playing for a draw. And like I know you need a draw chance, but it's just a terrible mindset. Like you don't play for just a draw. You know.
No. So they deserve to go out there, in my opinion. They deserved it. We kind of already talked about this group really, and again about this. And obviously this. I don't think you can talk Canada. I don't think you could say Canada were disappointing. Really, I think they tried what they could, and obviously said Serbia. We've not talked about this group. It's the one group I was like, there's one more group that's missing. There's one more group that I haven't thought about, and I'm like, yeah, this group, Group H. I mean,
could you say both? I mean, I think both underperformed. Both
Ghana. Yeah, man. Like, what in defense to Ghana? What I was saying in defense to Ghana is that Ghana played well in the first two games.
Yeah,
they beat South Korea, and had they been a bit more attacking against Portugal and had thingy not slipped, they could have even got a draw against Portugal.
Yeah, they nearly lost to Portugal.
Sorry?
They nearly lost to Portugal.
Exactly. You know, so I can't really. The reality is that I think that the moment got to them and they choked against Uruguay. You know, Uruguay got into their heads and that's it. So it'd be harsh for me to judge Ghana and say they were overall bad when, like, they performed great against South Korea and against Portugal, but they just choked in the emotion. Uruguay, on the other hand, I'm more critical to them because
me too.
They shut up shop. They didn't score against Portugal.
It's pretty much opposite of Ghana.
So yeah, exactly. You know, they didn't do, and then against Ghana, like, right, yes, we're gonna play football. We're gonna do these things, and then they were like, "Oh yeah, we're celebrating," and it was like, we're gonna do it. You know, doing all this nonsense, wasting time, blah blah blah, only for South Korea to score, and it was like, "Oh wait a minute," you know. So had they actually taken the previous game seriously, scored goals, even the Ghana game, continued to score goals, they may actually have qualified from this group. You know, so I think Uruguay. And you know, everyone likes Suarez's tears. You know, Suarez's tears. Shout out to Suarez's tears, man. But I mean, yeah, I thought the Uruguay really
underperformed,
and I think I was just disappointed by how they went about the games. You know, they didn't come to play football against Portugal or South Korea, and they thought they were just going to try and win it in the final game. You know, like at least Ghana, like it's like okay, they only need a draw. So I can get it, you know. So, but like, you know, come on, like that. It was just a bit disappointing. And most of these players, if I'm Uruguay, I'm thinking I don't know what the future for Uruguay is because most of these players, this is their final World Cup. You're not going to see Cavani again. You're not going to see Suarez again. You know, okay, sorry,
Muslera, Godin,
exactly, Godin, those guys. You know, and you're saying the future of your attacking line is Darwin Núñez. Is that what we're saying the future of the attacking line for Uruguay is?
Yeah, and you know what's also really stupid from the Uruguay coach? Like, I think it's what's the guy? Diego Alonso, I think is coaching. Yeah, and you know that guy Deriscata? That guy's been one of Flamengo's best players, and he barely
didn't take him. Or did he not give him minutes or something like that?
he's in the squad, but he barely played in this World Cup. And then finally decided to give him a start against Ghana. Look what he did. He was fantastic. Like, why did they start him against like Portugal and South Korea? It's stupid. And you saw against Portugal that when he came on, like he at least had some impact. Like he was decent when he came on.
No,
so it's actually stupid. Yeah.
Sorry, it's been 2.5 hours. I'm still talking, but hey, thanks guys for watching and liking the video as well. This is the World Cup final. So what can I do? I have nothing else that I'm doing right now, So it is what it is. We'll come back to. There's a few comments in, so we'll come back to some of those questions. But yeah, Elon on Forward Watch. SMA USA need a creative midfield and a striker, and they have a good team to me. Fair enough. Raymond says, how would you rate England's performance, G? Is it the manager or the team to blame? The team is the best ever assembled and still can't win it.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say England also kind of underperformed, but they at least made it to the quarterfinals, so at least it's respectable. So that's why I didn't pick them there. But you could also say they kind of disappointed.
It's a difficult one because, again, it's all about... I always look at the manner of which you lose and win. And the manner in which England lost is like, for example, like the performance I know people say it's about winning, and it is, but I also think performance is also important.
Oh, yeah.
And for me, England played, this is the best against France. That was the best, certainly in the second half. That was the best England performance that I'd seen in a tournament.
Yeah, I would say so too as well.
For England recently. Like, certainly for England, the World Cup, and definitely putting aside the Iran thing, because Iran were just bricks, but just in the manner which, like I said, I was like, how is Jordan Henderson controlling this midfield against France? That made no sense to me, And, if Harry Kane scores that penalty, you don't know what would happen. Because I actually think that England would have probably given, well, I mean, I say it's in retrospect, but I think England would have probably given Argentina more problems than France would have, at least for... I'm not saying France don't have the better starting 11, but I think that England had a better balance in their team. Yeah. I think that the problem with France is that I think that France had a great...
their defense was sketchy for France.
The defense was sketchy, but I think for me it was their midfield. Yeah. Anytime France came up against a competent team, their midfield would always struggle. And the sort against England, sort against Argentina, even against Morocco, they struggled sometimes.
Yeah, like it's crazy. Like, even
go on.
Even like Poland were good against them. Like for the first half, I know Poland were bad in the second half, but for the first half, Poland were actually decent. Like Poland actually played well against them.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I think that it'd have been interesting to see Argentina playing against like a competent French midfield with Pogba, Kane, Kante sort of in it, or even against an England midfield. So I think it'd have been a much different game. So, but it is what it is. It is what it is.
And also, if we had Argentina England, it would have been also more chaotic because the rivalry between the two.
Yeah, no, exactly. There would have been. I don't think it would have got this final, but I think there would have been a lot more. The thing is, I think that England need to be a lot more, and it's because they're young. England needs to be a lot more street smart. It's the same thing with Brazil. The thing about this Argentina time is that they are street smart. And to win a tournament, sometimes you need to be street smart. He had to score that penalty at the end of the day, and he didn't. And it is what it is. But I think that come the next World Cup, you're going to see a lot of these teams that did well, your Englands, your Frances, etc., that have a lot of young talent. And you're going to see a lot of these teams come into their prime. And then, Brazil even, and then it'll be an interesting story, Let
me ask you this question.
Go on.
Do you think England are too reliant on Harry Kane for their attack?
No. I think that it'll be interesting to see if Kane plays in, because Kane must be, how old is Kane now?
I think he's like 29.
So will Kane play in the next World Cup? I'm not sure. We'll see.
That'll probably be his last. I don't see him going after that World Cup.
It's different because 4 years is a long time, and you just don't know how football will be. Because to be honest, Callum Wilson was doing well. Callum Wilson has been doing well for Newcastle. Didn't get a shoe in. I still stand by the fact that if England had picked Jamie Vardy to start, he'd have been a much more better attacker. Not for this World Cup and in previous tournaments.
Yeah.
He'd have been a much more better attacker than Harry Kane, just because he had a lot more pace running behind defenders and caused problems. So essentially what I'm saying is that like England have a lot of good attackers. And I think in 4 years' time, I wouldn't be surprised if there is another number 9 that comes and surpasses Harry Kane.
Yeah, the thing with England is, I think Southgate did a good job with England because, like, typically, previously, before this World Cup, we all said England were so defensive. Like, England were traditionally very defensive.
Yeah,
but in this World Cup, England actually played it pretty attack-minded. Like, England were actually really attacking.
Exactly. But that's why I think, and also in answer to Raymond's questions, like, do you blame Southgate? I'm like, I don't see how you can blame Southgate because no manager has made 100%. I mean, even Scaloni today taking Di Maria off. That wasn't tactically the best thing to do, so I don't think you can say, oh, because he made that one decision, maybe he brought Saka off or he didn't bring up this person earlier, you can say that Southgate was bad. I think the way that England played and came and not get knocked out, you can't really fault it. If there's countries to blame managers, I would say Tite for Brazil, potentially, for what happened there. Who else? Do you blame? That's a good question. Do you blame German coach Flick? Ooh.
I heard Tuchel was in. I heard Tuchel. There, people are saying he could be coach England. I don't think that's going to happen. But
do you blame Hansi Flick though?
Maybe in some ways because I think Fulkrug should have started in that game against Costa Rica.
Yeah,
but they still won. So
yeah, exactly.
It's like, yeah,
it's one of those where because at the end of the key game, Costa Rica they were it's Costa Rica's irrelevant. But I mean, the game against Spain, to be honest, even Japan, I could be like, okay, yeah, they lost it, but Argentina lost their first game.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like I can't say manager. Oh, because the manager lost the first game, didn't go. It's like, yeah, these things happen. Like,
yeah, it's a Spain game that really costed them.
Spain game.
Yeah,
and
because had they won it, they would have qualified. I think.
Yeah. They well, to be honest, actually, Japan did them a favor because everyone thought, oh, as soon as Japan beats Costa Rica, which they're going to do, Germany are out. Because Germany had to have won the Spain game to still be in. Because Japan, but the fact that Japan lost to Costa Rica actually gave Germany a chance. So yeah, I think it comes back to that, as you said, the Spain game. They needed to, and they didn't. Let's see, Portugal. Let's see some comments here. Portugal need a serious look in the mirror.
Oh yeah, Portugal also underperformed this World Cup.
Yeah,
you could also make an argument for them.
Yeah,
I'm not going to put them in the top 3, but they were disappointed this World Cup. I think we have to agree with that.
They didn't. And I said this when what was his name? Ramos scored the hat trick against Switzerland, and everyone was like, "Oh, see, this is why Ronaldo's finished. Ronaldo shouldn't start." Blah 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 blah. And I was like, "Okay, yes, I get that, but you got to be careful that this isn't just reactionary moments."
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, like this is his debut. He's just doing his thing. You've got to be careful.
And I think that just shows how bad Switzerland were. Not really how good Portugal were. Of course, Portugal were good, but that just shows how bad Switzerland are. And I expected more from Switzerland. I mean, you only conceded 1 goal to Brazil, and you concede 6 to Portugal. Like how? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I think I don't know what I generally don't know what Portugal Switzerland's game plan was. They conceded early and they just fell apart. So I didn't really get it.
And the thing is, like, Switzerland are traditionally known to be very defensively solid. Traditionally, like that's another crazy thing. So,
what else do we have here? Ghana mentality didn't turn up against Uruguay, but then again, Suarez saved up all his energy and was running on hatred against Ghana. Yeah, well, that's what I said. Well, that's a small man mentality, though. That's the thing. Had he pent up that energy against Portugal or Korea, they would still be in the World Cup. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
RDS. Remember how you said remember how you said emotional thing with Iran and like the like those off the field stuff? That I think that's affected some of the national teams. Like, you know, Ghana, I think got affected by that. Uruguay, you know, Iran. You know, I think a lot of teams are. You have to put aside stuff on the outside of football world. Focus on the football itself. You know.
No, exactly. I agree with that, definitely. Where am I with the comments? I'm just trying to catch up.
Sorry.
The Ghana coach is a brick. Valverde and Nunes underperformed. I agree. Valverde didn't have a good World Cup, to be honest. Ben scores a bright spot. Yeah, okay, I'll give you that. Ben scores.
Yeah, he was decent. He was decent.
I'll give you that. I think Uruguay might change up the style of play and move on from pragmatism. I hope so. They need to do something because
this pragmatism is not working. It's not working.
I'm looking at Uruguayan football right now. I'm thinking, I don't know where the future is here, because if their future attack wise is Darwin Nunes, yeah, I'll just leave it there. SMB says England can match the Argentina work ethic in midfield. Exactly. De Paul is an EPL type of player, and we all know how McAllister is with Brighton. The game will be high intensity but low scoring. That's true. Yeah, that's a very good summary. I think that if it was England versus Argentina, it probably would have been maybe a 1-1, 2-1 or something like that. Because you're right.
It definitely wouldn't have been 3. It wouldn't have been 3-3. That's for sure.
No, it wouldn't have been that, because, as you said, England's work rate in the midfield was a lot better than France's. France's midfield was a joke. I'll keep it stack. Ibrahim says Fernando Santos destroyed everything with Portugal. Yes, he did.
And now he's gone.
Now, who replaces him? Oh, RDS, you're underestimating how much Kane is involved with the goals. Yeah. No, I agree. I'm not saying that he's link-up players, but this is why, he was. What I'm essentially trying to say is that you're right. It's like Kane was a good number 10. But he's supposed to be their striker.
Yeah.
And so many times in the tournament, I was seeing him come so deep to come and get the ball and to link up. Yes, it's important, but who's in the box?
You know, this might seem crazy to say, but Kane and Messi, their profiles are kind of similar. Because back then, right? Obviously, I know Messi now, but 2018 Messi, he had to be a midfielder, he had to create, and then he had to score goals too.
Yeah. It's almost I feel England would have been a lot more effective had they played Kane as a number 10 and then played, say, Callum Wilson, for example, ahead of him, and said, right, I'm going to create for you, and I'm also going to link up, with Saka and Foden or Rashford or Sterling, whoever it is on the left-hand side.
Tammy Abraham.
I know that Tammy Abraham still plays for England. I think Tammy Abraham has switched nationalities now.
Yes.
I'm fairly sure. I think he switched nationality. I don't think he's in England. He certainly wasn't in the squad. The only England striker number 9 in the squad was Callum Wilson. As far as I'm aware, So, but yeah, for me, he should have been. He should have been in that number 10 role more than anything. But anyway, it's just my. Argentina lost their first game, but these guys had 3 offside goals and a couple goal line clearance. Saudi was on the ropes for a lot. That is true.
Yeah.
Portugal almost reminds me of Jamie Vardy. Yeah. So which top 3 players as we kind of begin to run? We're almost 3 hours, so probably we'll stop at the 3-hour mark because it's been a long day. But 190 votes in the poll. Should Messi retire now? It's still the same, man. Jeez.
Wow.
58% of you say he should, and 42% of you say no. So still quite close. So fair
What's
enough.
Your opinion?
I've said it. I think he should. But when I say retirement, I mean go to the MLS or go back to South America. I just don't see what else he needs to achieve in the European game. I don't think winning a Champions League.
That's probably the only thing.
Maybe, but I mean, I don't know. For me, I think
maybe return back to Barca. That's also another possibility, although I don't really see it happening, to be honest.
go back to Barca. I mean, he did say, I'm going to bring back the Champions League to Barca. I mean, maybe he values that promise. I don't know. I think for me, the World Cup was the most important thing for him, and he won it. So, what can I say? What can I say? Let me just this Argentina team. That's that there. Good going, guys. So Raymond's second one's biggest surprise of the tournament. So we'll go to the top three. But before we go into that, I'll start that comment, Raymond. Who would your three biggest, the top three players that you think disappointed the most in this tournament?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I have to actually think this through. I can't think of any players off the top of my head. By the way, when you mean by players that disappoint, you have to be starters, right?
Yeah, you have to be starters. Yeah.
Okay. Just make that sure. Okay. Let's see. I'm trying to think.
That had high expectations going in, but kind of flopped.
Yeah. Trying to think. This is difficult.
I'll quickly put the groups again and just go through, so maybe they might jog
the
memory a bit. Let me know what you think in the chat.
Oh, got one for Argentina. Lautaro Martinez.
Was he a regular starter though, Lautaro?
I think he was, and then until the Poland game, and then he did become a starter. And for me personally, the reason why I say Lautaro is because like Lautaro was always he was always like a regular star for Argentina before this World Cup, and he was scoring goals for them in the qualifiers, the knockout stage, Copa America, and everything. But in this World Cup, he really underperformed. In this World Cup for me. And I just realized I don't think he scored a goal in this World Cup. I don't think he has. So and the fact that Julian Alvarez is getting goals ahead of you, and he's a very young player. He's not even played much for Argentina. I think that's pretty sad. So for me, I think Lautaro for me, maybe not top three, but he's at least in consideration for me personally.
Fair enough.
And you know how good he is for Inter as well.
Yeah, exactly. No, I agree. I mean, anyone from the Danish side, you could pick Christian Eriksen. You could pick anyone. I think from Eriksen, I definitely think for me, what I was quite disappointed with.
The only Danish player that played well was Christensen for me. Everyone else was terrible. He's the only player. He was good. Everyone else was bad.
France, man, I've got to say Dembele, man.
Oh, Dembele. Yeah, that's one consider. Okay, I'll agree with that. And I'm a Barca fan, so I'll agree. That's pretty bold for me to say, even as a Barca fan. I'll agree with that.
I don't actually know what knockout game he did that was good. Like against England, like he was bad. He was so bad. I was like, I don't think Luke Shaw had anything to do on that side.
Wait, what's his goals and assists this World Cup? Like, has he? I think he's only got one assist, which was maybe against or one or two assists. Like,
it might have been that one against Australia, I think, in the group stages. But Dembele was because if Dembele had performed,
and he was a starter too. That's another crazy thing. Like, that's just pretty bad. Like, you start all the games and still was terrible. Like, how do you start? That's actually crazy starting. Even after brick performances.
I don't know how. Like Dembele, Dembele was. I mean, I don't know whether people went into the tournament thinking he was going to be really, really good, but they would at least think that he was going to perform better than he did. I think. Anyone in Spain? Because Gavi and Pedri did what they had to do.
He's got 2 assists, I think. Yeah, 2 assists. He got assists against Australia and assists against Poland. That's it. Like 2 assists, really. And it's against Australia and Poland. Like, these are nations you should be beating, so it's not even that special.
No, exactly. I can't really think of anyone in Spain and Germany that kind of. I mean, I guess could you maybe Germany like Leroy Sané, but I think he was injured a little bit coming into it, so I can't really go at him because he wasn't fully fit.
Muller.
Again, Muller, I mean, but he's like, how old is Muller now, man? You know what I mean? So, like, it's like, he's not like, I didn't expect...
I have a good one. Neuer.
Yeah, okay, Neuer was bad. And now the Brick has gone and injured himself and cost Bayern the Champions League tie. Man,
Yeah.
yeah. Neuer, Neuer's
Yeah.
closely going towards brick status right now. He was GOAT status in terms of keepers in 2014.
Yeah.
Was
I guess it was
obviously
good for that Champions League. He was good for the Champions
and that
League.
Champions League exactly that period, but I mean he's
Yeah.
Neuer's going to be questionable now. Belgium, take your pick, but I don't think anyone really. Actually, no, I'll say it. KDB. KDB. I will
You
say
can't
it
say
right
Lukaku.
now.
You can't say
You can't,
Lukaku. I think it's a bit
say
harsh.
Lukaku, you can't say Hazard because everyone knows they're bricks. But you can
Yeah.
say KDB.
KDB.
You can say KDB. KDB for what he. In fact, I'll give it to him. I'll give it to him. And I'll give it to him because of these comments at the start. You cannot say that your team is old and you have no chance.
You can believe that, but you can't say it publicly.
You
just
can't say that publicly. And then to deliver disaster classes for your club, yeah. For me, yeah. Actually, I don't think there's any debate because of those two things. I think KD. Go on.
Yeah. And see, things Lukaku, he only played one game against Croatia, and to be fair, he was good. It's just that he couldn't score. And
he was injured coming back. So again, I give him a kind of like a thing, So the KDB, you were fit, you were ready, you come off a good stuff. You're the captain, You're the
That's a good point. He's the captain as well.
Exactly.
Captain should take leadership.
Coming off from City, you got. There's no reason why you can't be like, I'm a Man City player. Do this. I should be able to go and lead my country to source and to say that and do that. Nah, yeah. In fact, yeah, I've made up my decision already. Yeah, KDB was the worst performer at this World Cup, considering all factors involved in terms of his ability, him being the captain, what he said, and like he didn't even give a good game.
And I just realized something. He got no goals, no assists.
Yeah.
Like at least with Dembele, he was awful. Don't get me wrong, but at least he had 2 assists.
Exactly. But that's the thing. He ghosted every game. He didn't play well against Morocco. He didn't play well, even though Belgium won against Canada. They won because of a penalty. Well, no, it was a penalty, so it was through. Who was through on goal? Sorry,
Courtois. Courtois was good.
Yeah, Courtois was okay. Yeah. And he ghosted against Croatia. They were awful. He was awful. Yeah. Okay. I think we agree on that. We don't even have to go and speak about anybody else. Like De Bruyne is that sort of. So Timmons, let's round this up. Biggest surprise of the tournament, guys. Welcome. Well, pick top 3. Top 3 overperforming teams. So it's 3 teams that you think that overperformed this World Cup.
Morocco, Croatia. I think those are 2 undisputed. I think we can argue against those 2. There is a bit tricky. Do they have to do well in the tournament? Because there are some like you said with Cameroon, they overperformed, but they still didn't qualify. Are we going to include those kind of teams as well?
Yeah, I would say teams that you didn't. What's my niece doing? So for example, okay, maybe make it top 5 because, for example, for me, I would say that Australia have to be there.
Oh yeah, Australia.
There is no one. I did not see anybody predict Australia qualifying from that group. No,
I saw some people, but it was very few. Very few.
It's got to be out of 100, 2.
Yeah, it was very few.
So I think from that, even though to be honest, they gave Argentina a good game. So for me, if I have to pick a 5, because I think you're right, there's quite a bit, because a lot of teams did overperform than I expected to. I'd have to put Australia there, just purely because no one gave them a chance at all, and they finished second ahead of Tunisia and Denmark, who flopped. Morocco, obviously, everyone has already said that goes without a reason.
Croatia as well.
Croatia, with Croatia, I'm like, is it that they overperformed, or is it that people underestimated them? I think it was more people underestimated them than they necessarily overperformed.
I mean, still reaching the semifinal though is pretty insane, and that had to be Brazil. I think that's pretty incredible. They weren't everyone predict. I don't think I saw anyone predict Croatia to beat Brazil.
Yeah. Okay. No, I'll give you that. I'll give them that.
Okay. If they ended the quarterfinals, then I could somewhat, because I do agree a lot of people are underestimating Croatia in this World Cup.
Yeah. That's 3. Yeah, I think Croatia, Morocco. Is there anyone else I think that overperformed? I guess did Japan overperform? Uh,
It's just losing Croatia. It's just kind of my only negative
yeah,
also against Costa Rica.
it's a difficult one. Like even South Korea, I'm like, I don't think they're kind of Switzerland. For me, like that's why I would probably have to put Cameroon there.
Yeah, Cameroon.
Because like even though Cameroon didn't qualify, I think again people thought they wouldn't get anything from the group, and the fact that
many people thought they would finish bottom.
Exactly, and the fact that they were able to finish not above Serbia, who people put as qualifying, maybe even getting ahead of Brazil, but also getting the points they did. They didn't disgrace Africa, So
and they beat Brazil. I think they're the first African nation to beat Brazil.
Beat Brazil, exactly. Even though, like I said,
I know it's like a rotated team. I know it's a rotated team for Brazil, but that's still impressive. Like to beat Brazil, like it's very impressive. And like Brazil still got some quality. Like you saw Martinelli, Ederson. Like these are still like big name players.
Exactly. I agree. I mean, that's the 4th. Is there a 5th one that maybe say overperformed?
I guess you could still maybe say Japan just because they beat Spain and Germany, and maybe you could say.
Would you say the USA overperformed?
I was tempted to say, but I feel like
USA would finish bottom. So do you think that maybe they did? But sorry, go on.
See, the thing is, like, I had very negative vibes of the USA, but I think, like as you said earlier, I think Iran and Wales disappointed for me more. But I am proud of the performance we did against England. I am proud of that performance. It's just that we didn't win. Like, if we had won against England and maybe beating the Dutch, then I would have maybe said so. But it's just that in the big games, we kind of underperformed. Like against England and Netherlands, like we were disappointing. So that's why I'm a bit like unsure.
Well, you know what Rayner said. Rayner said what he had to say. So there you go.
That's what I said, man. Yeah,
that's yeah. Well, we'll leave it at that. Because Rayner obviously had his thing. Rayner had his thing to say, So he had his thing to say.
It's been very good. What's your view on the USA?
I think that they've got a good chance of progressing. If they build on what they have now, then I think they've got a good chance in the next World Cup. But they have to sack the coach.
We gotta get rid of that coach. We gotta get rid of that coach. That coach is terrible.
If they don't get rid of the coach, then it's going to be problematic. So I'm just read estimates. I forgot it. So Tommy Abraham is all body. He has 2 goals and 2 runs in a packed schedule in Syria. He's borderline championship level form. Yeah, he's a bit. He's not great. But I think to be honest, I actually thought USA beaten Netherlands, and I would have said they would have performed. But you're right, they didn't, and I think that they still miss that. I think killer instinct.
Yeah,
I think.
The striker's a big problem.
Yeah, and they're still a young side, so you don't know. So, but we'll see what happens. But I think that's it. Yeah, so Japan.
I have another good shout. Ecuador. Would you say Ecuador overperformed?
I don't know, because they were in Qatar's group and Qatar were bricking.
Yeah.
So you really only have the other 3 teams, and then it's between Netherlands, Senegal, and Netherlands and Senegal, and it's difficult. I'd still say no, because Senegal were missing Sadio Mane. So you're like, had Sadio Mane been fit to play, would this even been a conversation? Maybe Senegal even top the group. I'm not saying that they would have been much better, but they do play a lot of their football through Sadio.
Oh yeah, of course. He's a crucial player.
So, possibly, but I think had they played this way and Mane had been playing for Senegal, then yes. But I think the fact that Mane wasn't there, I'm like, They played quite a week in Senegal that didn't really have much in the favor of an attack, really, and they still didn't qualify. So I'm like,
I'm just throwing them out there because like a lot of people didn't really expect Ecuador to do much. Like they were like very like a lot of people even put them bottom of the group, which I thought was disgraceful. Like you can't like that was a bit harsh. So, like, you know, and the performance he did against the Netherlands really impressed me. Like I thought that was that was really impressive to me. So like and they were pretty good. They were pretty close. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, I agree. To be honest, for me, I wasn't one of those people who actually thought that what's the word? The Qatar would go through. You know, I always said, listen, at the end of the day, Qatar, they have no football heritage. I'm not convinced they're probably going to finish bottom, and I was proven right. It was, for me, it was between Senegal and Ecuador, and I think I only put Senegal ahead of Ecuador with my predictions, just purely because, I guess purely because I just thought that the fact that the AFCON win was so recent, and the experience that they have in that tournament football, that might give them the edge, maybe, you know. But yeah, I think that I can't think of everyone. I think, to be honest, if we're honest, like I would make an argument that it's Europe actually, and this is why it's going to be good going to next World Cup, because I think Europe, you could say Europe, a lot of European teams underperformed.
Yeah,
you know, I mean, obviously, you know, if I count, Wales,
I think 8 European nations advanced.
Yeah, out of a total of 15, 16?
Oh, 13.
Okay, so yeah, so who didn't? So, okay, so Wales didn't go advance, Denmark, Germany, Belgium, Serbia, 5. So that's 5, yeah. So 3, 4, 5. So they must have 13 teams. That's it. Yes. Okay, fine. But you know, you go to the knockouts, and obviously Poland got knocked out.
There's a knockout tab you could click that, I think.
Sorry?
There's a knockout tab I think you could click.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah. So getting to the quarterfinals, yeah, Netherlands, Croatia, England, France, Portugal. Yeah, that was 5. 5. That was it. So a lot of them. Yeah, I think you can make a very big case that European teams, like, for all the hype that European football is the best football in the world, and they should have more World Cup players, etc., they underperformed. You know, 2 European teams in the semi-final, 1 South American, 1 African. So I'm not one of those people who thinks that come the World Cup in 2026, that when they increase the numbers, that the World Cup quality is gonna go down. But by bringing more African teams, Asian teams, and CONCACAF teams, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Final question, and thank you for all those who are watching. Make sure that you like and subscribe. It goes a long way. And like I said, I'll post another link again to AD's channel. So make sure you head over and subscribe to AD's channel. Final question. Okay, if you exclude the final, because obviously people will say the final, what would you think was the greatest moment in this World Cup?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Obviously, everyone's going to say Messi winning World Cup. Yeah, of course, that's a cliche. So, but excluding that, what do you think?
Maybe Morocco beating Portugal. I think it was a big moment for football. We finally have African nation in the semifinals, and obviously, you as an African, you'd be very happy. I know your nation didn't qualify, but you know Morocco did. Yeah. I'm sorry, man.
No, it's bad. It is what it is. It is what it is. But yeah, you're right. I think that you know, I think who was that I was speaking to? Was it Mike? I think it was like almost every confederation has had at least gone to a World Cup semi. You know, even though USA did it in like
1930s,
1930s. You know,
I mean, it still counts.
It still counts. Exactly, it still counts. You know, but
yeah.
You know, Asia obviously with South Korea. You know, South America, enough said. But Africa hadn't. You know, so to do that, it's almost kind of, I feel like, you know, it's lifted that from African football. You know what I mean? You know, so it's given, I think, African football a platform, and I think that if you have that passion and people take it seriously, you never know what's going to happen.
And let's be real, it wasn't expected. Like I don't think many people when people did the dark horse thing for Africa,
Yeah.
a lot of people said Senegal.
The only
They were
the only
heavy
per-
favorites.
the only person to predict it was Eto. If you saw Samuel Eto's, I mean,
Yeah.
it was a brick final, like Cameroon and Morocco. Like it was brick. Like I mean, like it was like of course not. But to be fair, he got the semi-final prediction right. You know what I mean? So like
Morocco, France.
he got it right. So Morocco, France. So the 50% was terrible with the Cameroon side, but he did predict Morocco there. So shout out to Samuel Eto'o, man. But yeah, no, I think that this will I think just because I always think that it's just unfair that I won't say unfair, but we should have had Egypt at this World Cup. We should have had Nigeria at this World Cup. Obviously
Algeria.
you have to qualify Algeria. You have to qualify on merit, but it's like, and certain teams, it's when they come to the World Cup that they perform, they deliver on the big stage.
Oh man, I feel bad for Ivory Coast. Ivory Coast as well. They were close.
Yeah, no, exactly. So whereas at least now in 2026, you're thinking, right, okay, so it'd be very unusual. You're probably gonna see Nigeria, Senegal, Ivory Coast.
I want to see Mali.
Ghana,
I want to see Mali.
Mali, yeah, that'd be good. Mali would be good as well. Maybe South Africa potentially, depending on how they play. Maybe some underdogs. Like example, I really want to see Burkina Faso because Burkina Faso always do good in the AFCON, but they never are able to make it through to World Cup. So I'd love to see Burkina Faso like
RDS. Remember what Gambia did in the last AFCON?
That was
yeah.
I mean, it made me embarrassed as a Nigerian, so because I was like, why can't Nigeria do this? But yeah, you're right, so I just think it would just be nice I'm looking forward to seeing some of these African teams that like have shown what they can do in AFCON, and I think can almost do what Morocco could do because of the passion. Do that on the big stage. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The beauty with the World Cup expansion is that I think it'll be 16 European teams, so only 3 more it gets added. And I think for Africa, you get like 9 teams. I think you have 4 more teams added.
It's now it was 10, but it's now 11 because Morocco. I think something about Morocco getting through to the semis. So the coefficient, I think, is like, so I think it's 10, and then there's like a playoff. So I think now, like the 11th spot is like a playoff between. Let me just double check. I think.
Yeah, so it's a little confused the allocations.
African spots.
Yeah, and Asia's going to get a considerable upgrade as well. I think.
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
Asia Africa are the big winners for the new World Cup format. They're going to get a lot more teams.
For World Cup 2020. Sorry, give me 2 seconds.
Man, this World Cup format's going to be so complicated.
It's going to be ridiculous.
I really hope they don't do 16 groups of 3. I
don't like that if they do that'll be brickish. If they do that'll be brickish.
Yeah,
I
heard they are considering maybe doing 12 groups of 4. That's what I've heard against consideration. I'm praying that they do that because I don't want to see 6 groups of 3. That's
12 groups. To be honest, what I would prefer is if they because for 12 groups of 4, that if you're going to do that, you're going to have the whole best third place in it.
Yeah, I don't really particularly like that, but I would prefer that over 16 groups of 3.
Yeah, for me. I'd prefer it over that, but what I would prefer is like going back to, I think, was it the 70s, 80s formats where you had 2 group stages.
Oh,
so like you have like 40, it's 48, and then so you do your best group of 3 then, almost like a pre-World Cup, as it were, and then you go like, let's say call it group 0, and then you go into a next group stage. Because if I'm honest, the group stage is what sorry, the group stage of the World Cup is what I enjoy the most about the World Cup.
Yeah,
because of the narratives, because of everything. So
and you get to see all the teams play.
Exactly. So I think you should have 2 group stages, narrow it down from 48 to 32, then have another group stage where the top 2 qualify. But this time, like for example, like you know how all the groups are seeded in the first bit. you don't do that in the second bit. So you can potentially have like big teams, big games, stuff like that. Potentially, like you don't reseed Group One, you know. So that way, like the actual group stage is incredibly competitive, and then of course, then you then go ahead and do your traditional round of 16, round of 18, etc. At least that's how I would do it anyway, you know. So seed the groups for the first group 0, and then after that, it's just like you just put like you know I don't know, winner of group A and runner up of group B go into this group and that group and blah 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 blah, and you just sort of get your groups that way, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but I agree with your idea that like if they don't do that, then 12 groups of 4. It's just I don't like the third place thing, because I feel like it, if you're gonna do it, I'd rather at least have another group stage where like top 2 matters.
Yeah,
Whereas if
yeah.
you do third place, it kind of makes some of the games a bit kind of like I think it downplays the, because even in the Euros, like um they weren't
Yeah,
the
you're talking about the
groups
group.
weren't
Yeah, you're
that
talking about the
good.
group of death. Yeah, sorry to interrupt you. The group of death, like for example, like Portugal, France, and
Yeah,
Germany, like
yeah,
all the teams advanced. You know.
yeah. Like if you had it here, like you have Japan, Germany, and Spain or whatever, it's like yeah, but we're all going to advance anyway, you know. So it just it just knocks it out for me. So like
Yeah,
I said, I'd rather they probably have two group stages. So if you want to do that, fine. Like almost like a preliminary, like World Cup or pre-World Cup, or build up the hype or whatever, you know, and send all the nations home that like are just participating, and then start the World Cup proper, with your proper group with the 32, and then crack on with the rest. So at least that's what I think anyway. That's my personal opinion. So
fair enough, fair enough.
but anyway, guys, thank you. So it's been over 3 hours. I've got to bounce, but it's been great. AD man, AD, thank you so much for like keeping me. I don't know how I'd be able to go on for 3 hours if you weren't on the show, but can you just tell the chat where they can find you, channel wise, what you do, Twitter, all the rest of it?
Yeah, so on my channel, I try to cover as much football as I possibly can. You know, international football. I love international football personally. For me, I love all the different competitions. Like even like the the Asian Cup and AFCON. Obviously, it's not as discussed about as like Copa America and Euros, but I still cover those on my channel. I think people should discuss more about those competitions. To be honest.
Hmm.
Yeah,
No,
even Gold Cup as well.
no, definitely. And I think what this World Cup has done to me is that here's opened my eyes. I'm like, you know what, you know, because I always think, international football. But then when as soon as international football comes, I'm like, oh, I don't want to go back to club football. I don't want to be depressed watching Manchester United again. So I'm definitely looking forward to the next international football competition. And it's annoying that it's going to be a year from now. If you know, if you don't look at the Women's World Cup, into it, you know. So, but yeah, thanks everyone for watching. Congratulations to Emperor Messi. The GOAT debate is over, and yeah, take care, everyone. Peace, 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 peace.
Peace, peace.